Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
The sweet emotion raining all over me.
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
American black and blue.
Nothing worth doing ever came easy.
Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation.
Never, ever quit. Never quit. Adversity makes you stronger. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right.
They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedoms. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way.
When they couldn't beat him, they tried to bankrupt him.
President Trump is back in a New York City courtroom.
When that didn't work, they tried to put him in federal prison.
Raided by the FBI.
When that didn't work, they even tried to kill him.
They just tried to kill President Trump.
Donald Trump still stands, ready to fight, ready to win, and ready to make America great again.
This is Donald Trump's house, brother.
This election, we all get to choose. I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. The 45th and soon to be 47th President Donald J. Trump.
Starting on day one, we will defeat inflation quickly and we will make America affordable again. I will cut your energy costs in half. It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break. We are going to bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. When I'm back in the White House, we will restore world peace, and it will be again peace through strength. I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. And we'll put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America.
We all salute the same great American flag. Our best days are yet to come.
Together, we will make America great again.
Wow. How about that? This is Steve Elliott with Grassfire, and we're so excited to be online with you for Grassfire's Funner Election Desk. There's a lot to tell about what this means, but I'm joined by Funner Terry and Funner Doug, two of my co-laborers for most of my life, and we have been analyzing and predicting and pontificating on these elections for about 2 decades. So, Terry and Doug, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Steve, good to be here.
Yeah, it's exciting time, isn't it? And we're going to be here to provide what we think is just hopefully good objective coverage for you. Let your friends know about it. They can just share that stream or go to grassfire.com/live. We've got it on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. You can listen to any of those streams. And we're just going to get right into it. What do you guys see so far?
Well, I'll kick off. I think it is still a toss-up, but if you are Trump, you're feeling a lot better right now than if you're Harris. And I see a fellow friend and a funner from the West Coast. Our West Coast authority has joined us, Steve.
Yes, and he's just California, I guess. Apparently,
his name is California. That's right.
Yes, apparently, and apparently he's enjoying cookies too. Are you already celebrating?
I think he thinks that California's in play.
We can't hear you, but that's okay. That's Mike. Mike, we love you.
Yes, but I was saying
you might have to mute your television. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Let's do this. Let's look at. I know that the networks want to show you a certain map, but let's look at the map as it probably really is.
Okay.
So what I try to do, guys, is the dark red are the ones that have been generally called. If you see some, they're going to get called here in a few minutes. The dark blue have been called. The light red and the lighter blue are the ones which we're expecting to go a certain way. And then there's 3 very light blue, which may be in play for Trump. So one of you guys talk about the blue wall. What does the blue wall mean to Harris up here?
What do you think, Doug?
Well, I think, we've got states that she cannot lose. These are states that are historically Democrat. They've almost always gone Democrat, and they basically make up the bulk of her entire electoral vote that she needs to get. If there's any breach whatsoever in that blue wall, then that's a very positive sign for Trump. It almost always goes Democrat. At least that's what they're expecting. And I think that's what we're looking to see tonight, if there's going to be any little wrinkles in that at all.
Now, Mike, I see you've already held 2 of your 3 home states. I guess Mike can't figure it out. Anyway,
is it 5 o'clock yet in California? Is he drinking?
What did you say?
Georgia. I've already called Georgia.
You're calling Georgia?
I've been around to all the precincts. They've all said yes.
Okay, we'll call Georgia temporarily. But let's look at that. So Trump's states are Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina. He has trouble winning without at least Georgia, North Carolina, guys. Maybe Arizona he could win without. But for Trump, let's just look at it. If Trump gets those 3, he's at 263 if the other states go as expected. So that's the amazing thing for Trump. If Trump somehow pulls out Virginia, he wins.
Game over.
Yeah,
it's game over. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Virginia was still close. It's probably maybe not likely. If Trump pulls out Minnesota, he wins. So if Trump holds North Carolina, Georgia, and wins Arizona, he has a lot of pass. Now, unfortunately, Nevada doesn't quite get him there. It could be a tie if he gets Nevada, but Nevada could push him over either way. So it's actually, if Trump can hold these 3 states, if he can hold North Carolina and Georgia for sure, if he can't get Arizona, he has to break into the blue wall, right?
Yeah.
He has to get one of these 3.
Yeah. I think if he does not get Virginia, then it is a certain that even if he gets Nevada, even if he gets Arizona, he's going to have to get either a Wisconsin, a Michigan, or a Pennsylvania. If he doesn't get one of those, then it's game over. She wins by at least 1 vote because he doesn't have a path. Because Nebraska, that 1 electoral vote, that one will push her over the edge. So
right.
he needs Virginia or he needs Pennsylvania. He needs one of the 2.
Well,
that's
if you
where
remember,
I was born in Nebraska. I was born in that district.
So remember how close Wisconsin was.
You were born in the blue district, Mike, or the red district?
I was born in the blue district there.
And you couldn't flip it?
I'm planning to flip it this year.
Isn't he expected to? Isn't she expected to get 1 out of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. All of my Catholic friends there are going to vote for Trump because they don't like what she does to babies.
That's the truth, isn't it? Hopefully the Catholic vote will come out in Pennsylvania too, but we'll see if it does. So, Doug, you were saying something.
I was just going to say, I think Wisconsin is a real.
I don't
possibility for Trump.
So what's a real possibility?
Wisconsin. You look at how close it was in 2020. And I think that's, as you were playing with the numbers there, I definitely wouldn't take it off the table for him. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah. I think what's kind of confusing me a little bit, and I'll just see how the vote comes in. When you're looking at Georgia, the percentage of votes that he's receiving in rural is up. The percentage, the African-American vote in your urban areas is down for her. Yet in some of the other areas, you see, like in Ohio, you see some of those statistics, although the vote is early, you see some of those trending the opposite way. So I'm curious to see if that's just an anomaly because the vote totals haven't come in yet, or if we have like a regional issue. Is it a Southern regional issue versus the Midwest? It'll be interesting to see.
It is interesting. So it might come down to the suburbs again, and then they just hammer Republicans on Trump on these same issues in the suburbs.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think
what
some of the cities are so hopeless?
I'm more interested in how many sodas you have in front of you, Mike. That looked like about 8 sodas.
That's 6 and 7.
Okay, they're filling in some more seats, some more reds, some more dark reds. Colorado goes blue. So one of us is in Colorado. Boo on Doug.
Yeah, well, at least I didn't predict that Colorado was going to go red like one of the funners in the group.
I've got those mountain communities that are still going to vote.
Mike, it almost seems like you're in another country watching a different election.
No, your audio's terrible. It's like you are in a foreign country. So that's
California.
You can probably vote legally in most states then, Mike.
I strongly propose that California be its own place, and then we can build a wall right here, there along Nevada.
I agree. Like right along here. Like, how about this whole thing? This is straight. We could draw a line right there and just wall off.
Straight. I've also got a plan to combine all of those northeastern states. They're not relevant. They're not populated anymore. Rhode Island's got like 700 people in it. So let's just combine it with Connecticut.
And they're so small that you can hardly see them on the map. If you can't be seen on the map.
You growing up to be a senator in Rhode Island are like 1 in 300.
Hey, I want to talk real quickly about Florida and how quickly that went tonight. Was that impressive or what? I mean, last I checked, they were close over to 95% vote in. Can we not put those guys in charge of the rest of the nation for vote counting?
Are you pushing for DeSantis for president in 4 years? Is that what
you're saying? Well, let's get him national vote czar or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you think of it.
I'm a Florida voter, so I can tell you about that.
Yes.
I went to my polling place. It said that everyone was welcome to vote. The only things that weren't up on the sign were white males, but I asked one of the poll workers, and they said they'd make an exception for me. So I went in, I voted, I stuck my thing in there. I asked for a receipt. They said no, but that I could trust them, and apparently they were right.
I've been wondering that because there's so much. Basically, the left has made everything that we used to trust now not trustworthy.
Right.
I mean, I go to vote and I think I put the dumb little thing in. We have actually paper ballots in Virginia, at least, so we don't have the stupid voting machines. I think I would revolt. Hitting computerized buttons. There's no record of what you voted.
Bubbles.
I have bubbles on a paper, and I stick it in the machine. But I stick it in the machine, and I'm thinking, how the heck do I even know that this got counted? It's so bad that they have so destroyed our trust in basic institutions.
Well, in Colorado, we have mail-in voting, and you get a little receipt when you tear it off, and you can go online and check and see if your vote has been counted. Now, whether or not that's real or not, I don't know, but I did, and they said it was counted.
Have you checked that out, Doug?
I did. They said it was counted, so
it actually has a receipt.
It apparently didn't help because we lost the state, but
I was told they won't do that in Virginia because then you can sell your vote or someone can blackmail you. As long as you can walk in with to vote, and you can someone could say you have to vote for Trump or Harris or I'm going to kill you, and you got to prove to me that you didn't, and then you can prove it. The whole idea of a secret ballot is no one can ever know what your vote is.
Well, we just need to go back to all in-person voting. That's how you solve that problem.
I totally agree. I totally
Yeah,
agree.
That's right.
I think Steve,
And with
the
a
Florida,
voter
well, with the
qualification process.
Well, Steve, with the Florida vote, the one thing that I am just shocked by, but it really is a generational thing. Miami-Dade County
Mhm.
going red
Yeah.
for the state of Florida is unheard of. In my lifetime, I have never seen that happen. The last two cycles, 22 and 24, it has the Latin vote in Miami has voted Republican. Now, the question is that the Cuban vote? Or does that represent Latinos around the country?
Right, because Cubans
That's
have a
Mhm.
distinct culture from general Latinos.
Correct. Very different than Puerto Rican, very different than some of the others. But I mean, I'm astounded when I saw that. That's pretty amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, Mike,
Trump's-
Nebraska went for Trump, just to let you know.
There you go.
There you go. That's
so
good.
we have any? So, Funner Terry, what about
Yes.
the betting odds? Because I'm always intrigued by that, and you seem to be following that fairly closely. What are they saying right now?
So the interesting thing is as we kind of base, the polls and everything. A long time ago, I learned that, much like the betting odds, what are the odds makers making of it? And throughout the campaign, the odds makers have had Trump leading most of the time until right after the convention for Kamala. And so that's when it flipped. Well, all of a sudden, it was neck and neck, 55-45 Trump for a long time. Then it dipped almost even. And today alone, it has jumped about 25 points in the last probably 3 hours for Trump. He is up now almost 72% chance to win the presidency, according to the odds makers.
That's
Which, if
his
you're
highest,
Kamala
right?
Harris, yeah, that is 72. Actually, 71.5 was his highest. He has hit 72 earlier, a couple hours ago. About 30 minutes ago, he was at 74%. So he is right now trending in the right direction. The Harris team has got to be a little bit nervous.
So, what do those guys know that the rest of us don't? That's what I wanted to know.
That's a good question. I wish they knew.
Well, to add to that, so I've got the New York Times needle here.
Has it moved?
And there's been a move now. They've just moved from 278 for Trump to 280 for Trump. So things are going up a little bit. The New York Times, is of course their engineers, the computer engineers, are on strike. So this is being done by volunteer ladies,
monkeys, or
who are from the combined Democrat and Republican local precinct committees. They're coloring this in with their colored pencils.
I don't know. I've watched this dumb needle for a couple election cycles, and it just caused me more heartache and grief than I think I
But
really
it's kind of
wanted
fun
to
to
do.
watch it on the Hillary race, because it went from one side all the way to the other in a couple
That's
hours.
true. That one was good. I guess that was good a few years ago.
That was good. That was I was representing Colorado at that time. So
That's pretty funny.
Well, how are we doing? Do we have any? We've been talking about the president a lot, but what does it look like with the House and the Senate? Are we feeling comfortable with those two? I mean,
Senate's got 54 Republicans now, right?
No. Well, West
I got
Virginia
my
was a pickup.
whiteboard here.
Is on their board there?
Oh, you got your whiteboard?
My whiteboard here. Let's see here. Looks like they're up to 100 possible senators.
Okay, good. At least we didn't add any to the mix this year.
Yeah. We'll get
You wanna
that
show
in
us-
just a little bit when I combine the northeastern states.
You want to show us that whiteboard again, Mike, or no?
Oh, what? My whiteboard?
We're zooming in on Mike. I don't know if this is good for ratings or not.
I'm not so sure. I just
Hey,
didn't know
how
I
about
could do
all
that.
you people who are logged on here? Let's hear from you now.
Yeah,
we
can they
don't know
chat
how
in?
to hear from them. Just put your comments in that chat area right there.
Yeah. Can we see any chats from some of our login individuals?
You guys sound like local talk radio hosts who are desperate for phone callers.
I actually think this is way better than what we've done in the years via text message. So
very true.
Definitely more fun.
I agree with that. Looks like Ted Cruz is it's close, but it looks like he is in a comfortable lead. And when I say comfortable, at least a few points. So it looks like he might hang on.
What's the percentage of vote in there in Texas?
I think I'm guessing. I think it was over 60%, and he was at 51% of the vote. So it's getting up there.
Interestingly, our buddy McConnell put zero money into supporting Ted Cruz in that campaign.
Hold on a second.
Of all of them,
Pennsylvania.
Of all the money that McConnell had.
Uh-oh.
Pennsylvania's weighing in.
It looks like the Trump train.
We got an update.
Parade I saw on the Pacific Coast Highway.
Hey, what did you guys think of the report earlier out of Philadelphia? Are you there, Steve?
Steve's kind of off doing his own thing right
He's
now.
Off. He is.
He's off on the left the reservation.
Steve, what did you think of the Philadelphia report of like the unbelievable amount of votes? I mean, that sounds like an alert to me. It just makes me a little bit nervous about some shenanigans going on in Pennsylvania. There's some kind of alert, I think.
Don't we have like a steel alert?
Nerve-wracking right now.
I heard there was like a steel alert.
I don't know. Do you guys think we might need a steel alert?
Yeah.
Steel alert.
Steel alert. I think.
Steel alert.
I think so.
Steel alert. Steel
I
alert.
think so.
You think there's a steel alert going on? I mean,
I think Philadelphia.
These clowns, they're just despicable humans. So last time, they totally changed all the ways you can vote. They totally manufactured 1 million extra votes in Pennsylvania. This year, they did not manufacture those votes in the early voting. So we're thinking it's looking good because Republicans cut the gap from what it wasn't 1 million to like 400,000. It's like, which is less than it was for Fetterman. It was like half the gap for Fetterman and, way less than it was for Biden. Everything looks good. And then Philadelphia dumps more votes than people.
Yeah.
That could be a problem.
Yeah. Well, we got people working on that right now.
You get people working on that right now?
We can take care of it.
Good. That's very good. That's very good.
How about a Virginia update? Anybody got an update on Virginia? Steve, aren't you in Virginia?
Check on that for us.
I'm in Virginia, yes. Virginia is looking like it's still a possible upset. It would be very big if it was, of course. I'm hopeful about Virginia. People are very motivated in this state right now, but it's just you just don't know because Virginia, we had the same thing happen in Virginia. We were ahead in Virginia. One of my close friends is running for mayor in my city, and the same thing happened for him in 2020. He was winning until midnight, and then all of a sudden they found votes, and it was like it's just unbelievable. So I'm not so sure.
Well, you do have a Republican governor, so it's not impossible that the state would vote for a Republican.
It is not impossible.
Not impossible.
And, I guess Youngkin, he won on the school issue in Fairfax County. You remember when that happened? That's how he won.
Yeah.
And I think they were hoping that this illegal voter thing that happened in Virginia over last month, where it was a relatively small number of votes that were being pulled off the voter rolls. But the stinking Justice Department filed suit to require Virginia to allow illegals to vote. They were known illegals to allow them to vote. So I think that they were hoping Trump came. He made a last-minute visit on Saturday, and there was hope that type of issue would stir enough people to go and vote. I don't know. When we just look at the data, step back from what's happening today, the data before today, everything was favorable for Trump if you compare it to 2020. I don't even think it was close. I mean, if we thought he had a chance to win against Biden, which he did, he's way ahead. He was down 7 points in the polling on the popular vote, and he finished even in this. So that's a 7-point swing in the polling, and then he lost by 3 points to Biden. So there was a 4-point swing from the polling 4 years ago, to what actually happened. So if Trump's even in the polling, you'd think that he's going to win the popular vote, even if it's by 1%.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, even if he doesn't win Virginia, I mean, of course, we'd love him to win Virginia.
Hold on. We have a call. Ohio has been called. Ohio has been called. Trump is up 9 points, and they're calling Ohio. How about that?
This is big news for Cuyahoga County.
Yeah.
Cuyahoga County, yes.
Isn't there is there a governor's race or Senate race in Ohio as well?
Yes,
Senate
there
race?
is. As a matter of fact, Rogers.
And that's going to be interesting to see if he's 9
Jim
points
Rogers.
ahead with 50% in. We'll have to see what that looks like.
Well, we're about 75 electoral votes away now.
Yeah, and here's breaking news from my whiteboard here.
What does it say?
It has now moved from toss-up to leaning Trump. New York Times.
Wow.
New York Times is leaning Trump, huh?
Steve, I didn't know if you noticed
Trump.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Leaning
look at that
Trump right there.
Leaning Trump. You gotta love the leaning Trump.
Those
You do like
grandmothers
that.
are really gonna. Man, they're doing a
They're
job.
working. They're going through the colored pencils.
Did you notice that Joe Rogan actually joined our studio cast? He apparently was coming from California, and now we've got Major here as well. It's amazing how that box just.
Speaking of Joe Rogan, what did you guys think of yesterday with that? That's pretty interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting. Yeah.
Well, from what I heard, he had an interview with Elon, and I think that kind of put him over the edge that he needed to. Elon was so persuasive that he decided he needed to make a statement.
FCC chairman Joe Rogan. Mark my words.
I will say, give you an update on the betting odds. He is now up to 75%. He's just past 75%.
Up to 70?
That's a high, right? That's high.
That is a major high. I've never seen.
I don't know. This
high.
almost sounds like a Trump wave moment. I don't know. Could we have one of those
Might be
things?
a Trump wave. Might be a Trump wave. I wish the technology moved that fast.
Yes.
I've got a.
I
How
mean,
much?
if
How much money?
there
do you have
was
on
a
the
Trump
market?
wave. It'd be fun to have a Trump wave.
It would be fun to have a Trump wave. Keep talking. Maybe we'll have a Trump wave.
$3.4 billion.
Waves, they come and go. By the time you
Yes.
start that Trump wave, it's already gone. And
It's not a
past,
trickle. It's not a trickle. It's not a drip. It's there's
actual
I
wave.
can sense it.
There we go.
A red wave.
Red wave-o-meter. Wow.
Wow, look at that.
Like
What do you think? Trump wave.
Nice.
Can we give the Trump wave about? Are we there yet for the Trump wave? What do you think?
No, but I think it's
I think
we're a little premature, but I mean,
A little premature. Drop it a
Yeah,
little.
but I think we're the first to call it. We're the first to call chance of a red wave.
yeah.
Is it a red wave-o-meter or a red wavometer? Which is it?
I like vom.
You like red
However you say that.
red babometer?
Vomometer.
Red.
Wavometer. It's the red wavometer. All right, we'll leave the red wavometer for now. If I can get it off the screen, we
Yeah, I
can go
think
back.
we should, since we're not calling a red vomometer, let's take it off.
Hey, and for the
Red
two people
wavometer.
that are watching us, wake up. We're
Jennifer
highly
Connor.
entertaining.
Hey, we got way more than two. I'm not going to tell you the real numbers. We got way more than two.
And by the time, and just so you all know, we call it when we're tired and ready to go to bed. That's how
That's
this,
right.
how this works.
Wow.
That's right. I have to get on a plane tomorrow, so there you go.
Oh,
6
I'm
a.m.
going to play tomorrow. You should hear these guys trying to back out. Oh my goodness!
I'm here all night.
I don't know.
Here
I don't know if I'll be able to be on the live feed. I'm not so sure I'll be able to do it. It's snowing and it's supposed to snow in Colorado. I'm like, what is this supposed to snow?
Who
in
was it that
Colorado?
predicted that no one would show up? I
Oh, my
want to know
goodness.
that. Yeah.
Here until I need to run over to In-N-Out pretty soon. But
You got to run over to In-N-Out pretty soon.
I'm gonna take a mobile. We'll do a mobile.
Yeah, but you've got to be
walkthrough.
our street reporter.
We're going to
Yeah.
already
You've gotta
call
be on
it
the
by the
streets
time
in
you
California.
get back from In-N-Out.
I'd like
Actually-
to have a new feature as well. Another new feature.
Hmm.
Since you mentioned Joe Rogan, it's the Welcome to the Party Pal.
By the way, I have an update I need to share with you guys.
Give me your update because we're losing audience. Keep giving us
Colorado, just so you know, we were talking about voting machines and in-person voting. For 4 months, they had the passwords online. The
Online.
Secretary of State for Colorado
Democratic
for the voting machines. So just tell me those things are safe and secure. It's just
not
crazy,
safe.
absolutely
why-
ridiculous.
Oh, election alert! Fox News just called it for Donald Trump.
No, they
I
didn't.
don't think so.
Although he's ahead in Wisconsin. So really,
He's
I think I've been thinking about this, guys. You know, I know we all hang on what happens tonight, and it does feel like the world's going to end if Kamala wins. it does feel that way. I can say it felt that way in 2008, and it felt that way in 2012, and it felt that way in 2020. I think we're worse off because now we don't even know what a gender is.
I don't mean to interrupt, Steve. We have a big election call. The governor's race of New Hampshire has been called for the Republican candidate.
Is that good?
That's really good because
Johnson Nooner, right?
Have they called New Hampshire yet?
No, they've not.
So if
called
the governor wins, that's a good sign.
We might have some coattails.
We could.
Yeah, because that's one of the states. New Hampshire, every little pickoff that Trump can make makes it much harder for Kamala to get to the 270, which is it's just so interesting. If Trump can hold Georgia, I think it's really Georgia and North Carolina. It gets him to 252. So then from here, he's got a couple pass. Pennsylvania is 19. Is that right? That's what it says there. So that would get him to 271. That gets him over the top.
Yeah. What about Wisconsin?
Wisconsin is 10, so that doesn't get him over the top. But he can do Wisconsin and Arizona. Gets him over the top. Michigan and Arizona, Michigan and Wisconsin. So there's lots of different paths. If
he can peel off New Hampshire, how many electoral votes is New Hampshire?
4.
So if you put New Hampshire and Arizona, Nevada, where does that get him?
He wins. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. And he was, you guys get me wrong, the early vote for the first time ever, Republicans were ahead in the early vote in Nevada for the first time ever. They totally flipped it in the early vote. And people were pretty ticked. And then Trump, where did he go and say there's going to be no taxes on tips? He went to Nevada. And then Kamala went to Nevada and said no taxes on tips. No one noticed that it was the same thing. But of course,
Mike, you're right next door. Can you swing over there and make sure that take care of that?
Over there.
Okay.
So that's the nice thing about Trump. Trump seems to be more pathways if he holds serve in the South.
But let me tell you, I've been talking to the people over at the Kamala headquarters, and they're just beside themselves. They're distraught. They seem unclear about their direction. I think they're trying to signal to us something that we're going to find out not tomorrow, not in weeks, not in a month. Something we're going to find out tonight.
Okay, let me ask you that. Okay, Terry, are we going to know tonight who wins this? What do you think?
I think it depends on Virginia or New Hampshire. If either of those go for Trump, we'll know tonight. If they don't, and it comes down to Pennsylvania, I don't think we're going to know tonight.
I think we're going to know tonight, but the problem is going to be the lawfare is going to continue for weeks. We're going to really know what the answer is, but they're going to be litigating this because that's the new way we do things. So
I think you're right. I think Terry has a point though, because Pennsylvania likely won't make a call tonight.
We won't know Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania will have no clue tonight. That's
Nevada won't make a call tonight.
And we'll be asleep anyway.
I won't be.
Now, if he picks up Michigan or Wisconsin, if they return, and I don't know how their voting return is, meaning how quick it is. But
hold on, just called Senate race.
Yep, I told you.
Ted Cruz.
Yep.
That's good news. I mean, we were
huge. I've got a special guest. From Texas, an attorney, former politician there, former city attorney at Denton, Texas. Ralph, go ahead and this is Ralph Mann who's coming online right now.
Ralph Mann, yes.
I doubt that.
Ralph, are you there?
I think he just dropped.
Oh, he may. Ralph, if you're watching, call back in, and we want to hear your perspective on Ted Cruz's victory over another pretender in the state of Texas.
That's good news.
With no help from our wonderful Senate Majority Leader.
All right,
former Senate Majority Leader, right?
That's correct. Hopefully.
All right, what else? I want to go back to my welcome to the party, pal. So this is what I think. If you step back from this election, and it does again. It feels like, before you really interrupted me, Terry, the whole world is hanging on this election. It does, because the left is so radicalized, and they're destroying even the ability to have fair elections in our country. They've destroyed the border. 21 million illegals have come in around there since we don't really even know. We don't really even know that they've actually so destroyed our country that it feels like we can't make it another 4 years. But something else has happened is there's this amazing alliance which is formed around Trump and around not just Trump, but around the idea of MAGA, making America great again, that I've never seen. I don't know, maybe you guys have seen such an alliance between RFK.
So much enthusiasm.
RFK, I mean, this is Bobby Kennedy Jr., who is, he came to the Trump rallies like, I have never had so many friends. Like, you know, I'm sure his whole family has disowned him for doing this.
This is JFK's nephew.
JFK's nephew. I mean, this is, I'm sure this is the first time he's ever voted for a Republican. It's bizarre. Then you have Joe Rogan. You have these other guys. I mean, Rogan held off. I think Rogan held off because he was hoping to get an interview with a sit down with Harris, and he wanted to do that. But then, you know, it's like he knows Elon Musk really well. I had him on again on Monday, and at the end of it, I don't know if he announced it during the broadcast or if he just tweeted. I know I saw that he tweeted it that he's supporting Trump, and it reminds me of something that I want to just quickly show the video of it. You guys all know it, I'm sure.
Let's watch it.
Let's watch it anyways.
No, that's great. We should, as many times as we're going to be watching this 20 years from now, celebrating what happened. It'll be faster then. Probably the buffering speed will be quicker 20 years from now. Ooh.
Can anybody hear anything?
Are we watching Die Hard, the movie? Have we just is this totally deteriorated to?
No, it's the welcome to the party clip. Welcome to the party, pal.
There it is. That's what I say to you, Joe Rogan. Welcome to the stinking party. We've been fighting this battle for 20 years. Little Grassfire called the illegal invasion the invasion 20 stinking years ago, and nobody listened.
I did.
Mike, you remember the giant billboards we put up all across the country?
In Miami, which now Miami has gone red.
Miami has gone red. Mike, you remember I came down to your house. It was almost 20 years ago, and we put up stupidly a billboard in Little Havana.
Yeah,
that said, you thought I was going to die.
I did. Yeah, true.
And it was a giant billboard. Stop the invasion. Even using the word invasion 20 years ago, Republicans didn't like it. Conservatives didn't like it. Now everyone uses the word invasion, including Joe Rogan. So welcome to the party, pal. We're glad you're here. You have an incredible megaphone. So what's amazing is no matter what happens tonight, the cat's out of the bag. We've got this coalition, which is way broader and is not going to stop. It's not going to stop with this election. It's not, if Trump wins, it's going to be about cutting $2 trillion out of the budget. It's going to be about sealing the border. It's going to be about fixing our elections. It's not just going to be about winning an election. It's about saving our country. So this election could go either way. We're going to save this country because this coalition is getting broader and broader. There's my soapbox on welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party.
Mike, what's your whiteboard telling us now?
And what a party it is. Let's see here. Got the most recent poly market. Terry is at 75% now, so it's gone up 2% since the last time we checked. Let's see what our friends over at the New York Times and Needle are saying now. Are we moving a little bit further? We're a little bit further into leaning Trump now. So,
ooh, that's like way over center.
Yeah, he's at 285, up from 280. Remember last time? So
definitely liking that.
Moving a lot of things over past the tipping point here. So this is,
what about a Virginia update, guys? Come on, I'm a little worried about Virginia.
I haven't heard anything from Virginia. Let me see if I can check in with some of my Virginia contacts. I got a buddy who was at the watch party here locally.
Don't you have a number to the governor?
No. But he did come to my church because none of the other churches would take him. It's so horrible. The churches are horrible now. The churches would not take the governor. All the big churches. Even a small church, 500 people, not small, but medium size. The governor was going to split between two different churches, but the other big charismatic church wouldn't take him. So he stayed the whole service with us. It was amazing. He worshiped with us. We prayed for him. He spoke. It was really quite amazing. If you come to a relatively small church and he stayed for 2 hours, we don't have short services where I come from.
No, they don't.
No, we don't. There's no now. This whole 45-minute stuff, whatever. We don't even know what that is. 45 minutes. We're getting through the third song in our worship service. 45 minutes.
Just an update on Virginia. We got about 56% of the vote in. Trump is up, I think, by about 50,000 votes. In Virginia with 56%.
What the note about Virginia is that the first things that have been counted there have been places which we would normally consider to be deep blue. So those are all already on the board. What we're going to find now is we're going to find places like rural Chesapeake.
Actually, they just showed on Fox that Fairfax County, which is the county that decided our gubernatorial race, is 10 points down for Harris from the Biden race. That alone could swing Virginia.
Yeah, that alone. Fairfax.
Anyways.
I like that. Good.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's still in play. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like that. Because I'm feeling a little bit pessimistic about Pennsylvania, and I would like to have some other options.
Why are you feeling pessimistic about Pennsylvania? What is it about?
The thing with Pennsylvania is the steel is so imminent in that place. If you remember what happened, it was like you started out feeling good about things, and then it just went downhill. And overnight, it turned into we wake up, and just like what happened in Georgia last time. And
we said? Go to bed, vote as red. When you awake, they've done the take.
That's exactly right. That's right. And I think that's Pennsylvania's mantra. So if there were other ways to 270, it would be great to not have to depend on Pennsylvania. Let's just put it that way.
That's what the whole country says.
Yes.
Not just during election seasons.
I don't really even enjoy Pennsylvania anyway.
That they had that Liberty Bell and they broke it.
I know. It's got a giant crack right down the middle of it.
You remember what Ben Franklin said about Philadelphia?
What did he say about Philadelphia?
Hot as hell.
Are we on beverage number 4 now? What are we on now?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good. Good to know.
Brought to you by Pepsi.
Trump is up by 5 points with 75% of the vote in Georgia.
I think Georgia's going red.
I think what's more important is how much. If he wins Georgia by 5 or 6 points, and if he even loses Virginia by less than a percentage point, then I don't see how he loses, because he's going to win the popular vote.
And we've got about 75% of the vote in Georgia, right?
Right.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Georgia, because
not a small amount.
Georgia's a state that should always be red, right? Atlanta, crazy people in Atlanta. Metro Atlanta, you can't even go to Wendy's without getting shot.
So then what happened last time? They couldn't have been that enthusiastic
last time it was a steal.
voting for Biden.
11,000 votes. It was a steal. I probably know 11,000
Steelometer. We need the steelometer.
Yeah,
definitely was a steal alert going on last time.
But let me tell you what, you got people in Metro Atlanta like Raphael Warlock, who is doing his wizardry, his evil dark magic. Not going to let that happen again.
Not going to let that happen
again. He is bound. Raphael Warlock.
Well, so if I remember, what's going to keep from happening last time? Because I remember what Steve said is exactly what happened. We went to bed, and then all of a sudden everybody got busy in Atlanta. And when we woke up in the morning, they changed the vote from red to blue.
Me off. Stinking Bill Hemmer showed a hour by hour in 2020 vote in Georgia, and it was like Trump's winning, and it stops at like 8 o'clock. He doesn't go to 2 a.m. when the vote actually switches.
Right, that's where it switches. Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, Bill. Why don't you roll out that timeline to 2 a.m. when the vote actually switched?
New Hampshire called for the chick.
Okay.
New Hampshire just dropped.
Huh?
Harris wins New Hampshire.
Well, we knew that was a long shot.
It was kind of a long shot, but
who knows? Those 4 electoral votes. Yeah, 4 electoral. Why do they even bother?
Why do they bother?
I mean, one little town in Nebraska has 25% of the votes of the entire state. So let's make it Old Hampshire.
Well, you realize that's the same story with Illinois. It's all Cook County.
So let's look at the
The
Funner
rest of the
election
state is
desk
very-
board real quick. We've got it at, if Trump can win Georgia and North Carolina, he's at 251. Let's pull those back out because it doesn't, we don't know yet, right?
And by the way, he is at almost 80% of the betting markets right now.
80% of the betting markets. So,
and with less than 1% of the vote in, Trump is ahead of Minnesota.
Woo!
Actually, I don't know if I told you guys this, but Atlas polling actually had Trump within 2 points in Minnesota.
When would you have told us this? Tonight's the first time I've ever met you.
Did we just find Mike out on the street corner or something, Steve?
So.
I don't know who this clown is. I have no idea who this clown is. But,
Just
anyways.
needed another talking head, huh?
So what were you saying about what, who?
Minnesota is at 2 points. Atlas polling, which was the closest poller for the 2020 election, had Minnesota before today going 2 points to Harris for Minnesota, which is far closer than anybody else had it.
Is that a thing? A polar? Closest polar? What is
Pollster,
that?
maybe? Pollster?
Pollster might be better than
I
a
think
polar.
like he's on a pole or something. A pole dancing.
What the heck is a polar?
He's a polar on the red wavometer, or whatever it is.
The polar opposite.
Yes.
Oh, a polar. What the heck is a stinking
I'm telling you,
polar?
Fox News has nothing on us. This is nothing.
Fox
Okay, so here's the RCP. Can you guys see that? Is it too small?
Yeah. No, it's good.
Okay, so this is this is very interesting. So this is the if you look at the last 3 elections, and they don't even have Minnesota on here because it hasn't been considered a swing state. But if you look at 2020, Biden is leading almost in every state in the polls going into election day, and we still thought Trump was going to win, and he still almost won, right? Because the polls were off. This time, Trump is winning in the polls in most states. And again, the polls were nationally about 3% off last time, and he was dead heat this year. So if you just look at that, it sure feels like this should be a good night for Trump and the Republicans.
I do think when you asked the question earlier, Steve, about if we would know who wins tonight, I think we will for president, but I'm not sure we'll know with House. Probably, the House will probably take a while to shake out because you've got all of those West Coast seats and stuff that are going to be in play. So it's going to be close with the House. We may
Are
not.
you talking
know.
about the House of Representatives?
That's that other chamber, that's in government. House, Senate.
Yeah, speaking of the
so
House
sure.
of Representatives, the Senate, the chamber, the executive branches.
Right.
Do you think that one reason Virginia could be a surprise to us is because so many people in Virginia have personal interactions with Kamala Harris, and they've made a decision about her based on those personal interactions that she is, just barely registering on the IQ meter, right? Like
Pretty much
above 0, maybe up to 0.5%.
It's so interesting when you actually compare the two just on that level. You had Trump who did, I think he finished at 2 a.m. this morning. Is that what it was? He did 5 rallies. He spoke for an hour and a half at the last rally. He didn't have to do that. He could have gone up there but they had a packed house.
He definitely did not have to do that. He does not have to speak for an hour and a half.
I know, but he loves to. But anyways, he's in Grand Rapids where he finishes every time. Apparently, she finished in like 12 minutes. Her last speech, 12 minutes, walk off.
And half of that was laughing.
What's this?
My knife.
Okay.
I'm thinking about, imagine dating somebody like Kamala Harris. What would that be like?
She's married. You don't date somebody that's married.
Well, apparently the guy she's married to dated quite a few people.
He
while
dates
was
other
married,
people. That's
so-
true. Yeah.
But if you were, let's say you were single and you're dating Kamlaka.
His name's Doug, by the way.
Doug.
Kamlaka?
Yeah, if you're dating Kamlaka, you're at dinner with her, and your usual funny self, and she laughs with that laugh. How long does it take you to pick up your wine glass?
Well, it's fake.
I don't mean to stop you, Mike, but no, I do mean to. Tell me about this poll in Iowa. Do you remember this poll that came out the day before the election that said from the Des Moines Register that said
Did you
basically
read
the
about
race was
that was the
Harris.
spectacle, right? The spectacle.
It's just ridiculous, don't you think?
And did you see how many people were actually polled?
29.
Yeah, it was like 78 people. She said she picked the best 78. So
Well, it was funny because I don't know if you saw it. She did an interview with
So
someone.
does she lose all credibility after this?
Yeah, she's gone. She's done.
She's gone.
She's gonna
And
be
I
like
do-
that Lichtman guy.
Someone put up the guy's interview put up a chart that showed like the difference between the different segments, and it was R&D this and R&D this in different segments. And she said, "Tell me, what does the R stand for, and what does the D stand for?" And the guy's like, anyways,
I do have some insider information here to share.
yes,
Right. We need insider stuff.
So some insider information. My sources are telling me
yes,
that North Carolina and Georgia are going to be soon called for Trump.
let's pre-call them.
And
51.
And if they are called, then that basically means she will have to. And Pennsylvania, the report is the numbers for the Republican, the early vote for the Republican was so strong that the reality is she will have to win either Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin. And they believe that their Wisconsin early vote and Pennsylvania early vote is too strong for her to overcome, meaning that they're feeling very confident that Trump is on his way to victory. That is my inside sources, just sharing here with Grassfire.
Another reason to send her home in her own Uber.
Mike, is the New York Times
New York
voter
Times
meter
just
caught
asked
up with
one.
that?
Let's
One
look
more.
at that right now, because so Fox News has Trump at 195, but if you're saying North Carolina and Georgia both go red, we're at 251.
Wow.
They're predicting Arizona to be basically go to Trump.
Basically, what's that mean? Basically,
Well, they're just before they even close.
The
They're
problem is you need 19, right? You still
Yeah, but
need
if you
19
get Arizona and
combination.
Wisconsin,
This is why
Arizona and
Pennsylvania
Wisconsin,
is-
it's over.
What'd you say? Wisconsin and Arizona, it's over. Michigan and Arizona, it's over. Michigan and Wisconsin, it's over. Nevada and Michigan,
Which
it's
goes
over.
back to exactly what I said earlier, and that is it takes Pennsylvania totally out of play, which that would be amazing.
because it's hot as hell in Philadelphia.
I think though he's got a better shot at
And we just
Pennsylvania
let them
and
do their
Wisconsin than he
steal in
does Michigan.
Pennsylvania and
Wait, let's go back to this, Terry. You got a pretty good source that's saying North Carolina and Georgia are looking so good that they're going to be calling it soon.
Yeah.
They usually do these calls like at the top of the hour, probably. So you're thinking it's going to be that soon. They're going to call Georgia and North Carolina. Really,
Yeah.
Georgia and North Carolina is the key to Trump's paths, multiple paths.
Yep.
Then he's got different. He's got Arizona. If Virginia sneaks in there, it's going to be like we said. What we said, we came to this. If Trump somehow wins Virginia,
It's over.
it's an early night.
now, Terry, I'm going to investigate your source a little. Is this some new source? Because you've been holding out this source for the last
I can't
couple
reveal my
election
sources.
cycles.
I can't
What
reveal my
else did
sources.
Leona say?
It may or may not come from TV, but again, I'm feeling confident to share these. Mike was going on about, dinner with Doug and Kamala, and I was actually paying attention to my sources.
Good. All right. Well, that's good. We like sources.
Mike, you got anything on the New York Times meter?
New York
for us?
Times meter.
Yeah, 69% chance of a Trump victory, according to the New York Times.
Show us that. Has that moved up?
Yes.
New York meter.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, that's pretty good.
leaning Trump, 69% chance of victory. Things are Popular vote still maybe goes to the lady, but
Which
whatever.
I think both Mike and I called that, but we don't care
but
so much.
because you got to overcome 10% of the popular
That's
vote is in
correct.
Los Angeles County, where I am right this very minute.
Yes. And Chicago and all of those liberal strongholds.
It's just so discouraging when you look at the map, the red blue map by counties at the end of all these elections.
Okay, we've got a viewer.
Uh-oh. Who we got?
Yeah. Okay, apparently he's calling from the Miami Heat Arena.
Okay, good. Does he have a question for the Center election desk?
We have the source.
That's the source?
That's the source.
Thank you for letting us know.
We're doomed if that's our source.
Oh, no.
Bill Hemmer is zooming in on Wisconsin right now. I like Bill Hemmer.
He's in.
I do too.
What is that?
What?
That.
This?
Crinkles. All right, what else we got, gentlemen? Anything else on the map? Any
Who's
more
Bill
news on
Hemmer?
the map? Can we fill in anything else?
Well, I think we need to kind of dig into what Terry said. Can we look at some of those numbers on those two states? What we're talking about here? We're talking.
Hey, I'm
about
pressing the buttons.
North Carolina.
I'm not looking up any buttons. Anything
All right.
like that.
Bill
I'm
Hemmer's
doing my
the guy
part.
on Fox.
Yeah, I'm interested in some of those North Carolina numbers because
Let's look. This is the key. North Carolina and Georgia are absolutely the key. North Carolina and Georgia give Trump multiple paths to win. Pretty much anything out of the blue wall. If Virginia can tip, it's probably over. Arizona won't be called tonight. Nevada won't be. This is the problem. The problem is Pennsylvania won't be called tonight. Nevada won't be called tonight. Who knows if Wisconsin or Michigan will be called tonight? The problem is we're getting down to this could be a long night.
yeah, but I think we can have confidence that we're going to end up. Arizona's been pretty heavily in Trump's camp this time. I think Nevada's a question, but I think it's a pretty known fact that we're going to get Arizona this time around. What am I highlighted now as the key?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I probably make the ratings go up for that 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it wasn't 30 seconds.
Well, if you had ignored it, I would have kept your ugly mug up there. Oh well.
Once we go off air, we're going to delve
Doug.
into this secret
Doug, stop.
person of Terry's, that informant person, the secret sauce man.
Look, I've got someone texting me, showing me how they're cross-platforming us with.
Nice.
Look at that.
That's
huh?
excellent.
That's you guys down
They
there.
need to ask those guys
Thank you,
who's
Bridget.
more accurate at this point, us or
I'm
Fox
very
News.
confident in my prediction about North Carolina and Georgia. I'm just telling you, Doug.
Okay, I
Terry, say it again.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
I'm
You're calling it?
I am calling North Carolina and Georgia for Trump.
You're calling them for Trump.
Calling
Do I go to dark red or leave them on the light red?
No, we got to leave them right.
You can leave them light red.
Consensus from because I mean that guy in the locker room. If that's the guy, I'm not sure I concur. So
it wasn't him.
Okay, all right.
That's another source.
I have another source.
Yep.
Mike's
and in Georgia, Florida, wherever that state is. Yeah.
Georgia. That's the state you live in, Mike.
Florida. No, actually, I live in Florida. Thank you.
Okay. Is this election fraud?
No, I'm a Florida resident and currently a resident of the United States, although that's up for possible flexibility depending on the results of.
Why would you do that? You're not leaving this country. Stop your silliness.
I've already got my paperwork for Jamaica.
Hey, I'm the only one in the room who's actually Jamaican. So stop with your Jamaica stuff.
Excuse me, I'm half Jamaican.
Why? How can you be half Jamaican?
Well, let's just say I'm half Jamaican.
Well, we have a couple of states that are.
Hold on a second. The The wavometer's up. I'm going to give it a little bit more. Whoa, hold on.
Does the New York Times agree with the red vometer, Mike?
It's red wavometer.
Yeah. What's the New York Times saying?
What?
Terry, and we need, Terry, from you a betting market update. Where are we with the betting market?
Yeah, give us a betting.
We are at 79.2% chance of a Trump victory.
That's pretty good.
He must have heard my sources as well.
What does that mean?
What are
That
the
means
chances
if I
of a Jill
bet
Stein victory?
if I bet money on it, I have to you give odds now. Now you want to bet on Kamala. Is that how it works?
Correct.
The money is
unless you want to lose your money.
Is going on Trump heavy.
$3.4 billion.
What's 3.4 billion?
That's how much has been bet on Polymarket for Trump.
Now you can't bet in the United States, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, right there.
Yep, it's legal. You could go do it right now, but you're not going to make much money because
$3.4 billion.
Right.
Well, guys, congratulations! We just did an hour.
Yeah,
going strong.
Well, we've got a couple states that are closing in about 8 minutes. We've got Iowa should come online.
Ahead in Maine.
We should get Iowa
with
stuff coming in pretty quickly. Find out if our lady from the Des Moines Register has any brains.
Well, the spinster lady does not. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The spinster lady?
That's the Polar's name. Spinster.
Well, Bill Hemmer's really going at it over Wisconsin here. I don't know what he's saying, but
I don't know. He's drilling down.
He's drilling down big time.
Yeah, it's too early to call, but he percentage-wise, he's showing that Trump is not doing as well in some of those counties as he did, or he's even. So not what we'd like to see. We'd like to see him up a little bit. But what did he win? What did Biden win Wisconsin by? Like 30,000 votes?
It was very small amount. It was.
Nope. New York Times just increased the percentage chance of a Trump victory to 71%.
Wow. We need some insiders in the Kamala camp because they got to be sweating now. If the New York Times is putting the 71% out,
and
you know
Polymarket.
Well, Doug, let me tell you.
What did you say, Mike?
I am in Kamala's home state.
Okay, what are they saying?
This is the state where she and Willie Brown started her career.
This is how she became famous, right?
It is how she became famous. She was just another nothing, just another California nothing until Willie Brown elevated.
Did you see what her husband said the other day?
Which one?
It was bad. It wasn't meant to be bad, but it came across bad.
Mike,
give us the New York Times thing again. You got that out in front of you?
Yeah, I got this up right now. I got
yeah, let's see it.
71% chance of victory.
Now that's not a betting market. That's actually what they're saying.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
How come I can't see it? There you go.
The betting markets now are at 81%.
81.
So what's happened?
81%.
What has happened to cause the betting markets and everything to jump?
What's happening is somebody's getting Terry's information. That's what's happening. Is they're starting
I'm leaking my sources to other networks.
They're starting to see the trend with Georgia and North Carolina, and that opens up, like you said earlier, Steve, a multitude of pathways if those two go red.
So it's really Georgia, North Carolina. Those are the data must be showing that's happening.
That's right.
The data must be showing something else. If New York Times is going there, they're looking at the data, and one of the blue wall states is probably going to fall too.
Well, and Steve, where is Trump at with the popular vote? Because he has been leading all night long in the popular vote as well.
Yes, he has, but that's because California and New York California hasn't come in. So California's got about 40 million communists in it. So
yeah, they're all out my window right here. This open.
With all due respect to the people, there's the interesting thing about California, it's like the rest of America. It's like two countries politically. If you go to the middle of the country, middle of the state, it's like you're in the Midwest, or in Texas, big pickup trucks and everywhere, and it's a very conservative hotbed actually. In fact, there's somebody want to make California 6 states. I think they want to split it up because they say they're not representing that. 54 electoral votes. So it's a tough nut to crack. But back in the days when Reagan won the state, has anyone won it since Reagan? Mike, you would probably know. I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I believe that Ronald Reagan, greatest president in modern presidential history, maybe runs a close second with John Adams if you count them all.
And dare I say this, Mike, and with all due respect, because he is my hero, Ronald Reagan, but the reason why California has been blue since Reagan is because of an unfortunate policy decision that Reagan made during that time, which unfortunately meant that a lot of people were going to always vote Democrat. So
what was that policy decision, Terry?
Well, hey, the red wavometer needs to be ready because we're at 82% now in Polymarket, the betting markets. Now it's at 83. It is going wild. Doug, the sources are out. It is flying.
It's all known. And we've got good news still with Virginia. They're at 60% of the vote in, and Trump's still up 50-48.
Man, that's
still
amazing.
within a steal, though.
Still within a steal, but
steal is very likely. You want the red
revometer. How come we didn't notice this during our practice run on this whole
the red
thing?
wavometer? The red wavometer is going up. The red wavometer is going up. You got to like this technology I'm using.
I like it. It's good.
It's great. It's great.
All right.
Your engineers aren't on strike.
My engineers are not on strike. And the red wavometer is doing great.
There's no crayon ladies working for us tonight. That's for sure.
That's right. Next polls drop in 2 minutes.
Okay, silly question. When I play a video, does the sound come through or not?
No.
Yes.
Well, it did earlier on the very first video you did. So the last one didn't. So
the last one didn't come through.
Right. Don't know how to answer that.
But we didn't want to break your spirit because we saw that you were really excited about it and really into it.
I was just confused. I was just confused what we were doing.
I knew what was happening. Oh, it's from Carmex. Carmex is getting you through the night, huh? Yeah. Right.
Oh, Carmex.
Mike, you're the snack meister. How come we didn't think about snacks here on this end of things?
I'll share with you.
Yeah. Give me some of those nerds.
These are
all right. So, how quickly will we know Iowa,
these are
guys?
a sign of the good things in America.
Good.
These nerds, which are not just nerds, they're nerd gummy clusters.
Yeah.
You really like those.
Yeah. Increased in sales by 1,000% in the past 3 years.
Nice.
Can't say that about Kamala Harris.
Will we ever hear from her again if she loses tonight?
No.
Will she just disappear?
It's kind of funny because you guys saw the Saturday Night Live clip where they snuck Kamala onto the show on Saturday, and they also had another guy on there who actually is my senator,
Tim Kaine.
Tim Kaine is up for re-election. When the question came up, who was the vice presidential candidate, and I could not remember who it was, and he's my senator. He's so unmemorable that and he looks exactly like what's his name. So
who was the presidential candidate then?
Hillary.
Hillary who?
I don't know. Okay, some results are coming in. Should be top of the hour. Let's see if we get the
election alert.
Confirmation of what
Nevada.
you're looking for. The Georgia, North Carolina, which we turned dark red. Which one should be dark red, North Carolina or Georgia at this point? Or neither?
I think we're still light red. I don't think we're ready to call either.
Okay, but let's look at this. If he wins again, this is the whole election. If he wins North Carolina and Georgia, it just becomes more and more difficult for Kamala because now you're at 251. Pennsylvania wins, Michigan and Arizona win, Wisconsin and Arizona win, Wisconsin and Michigan win, Nevada and Michigan win. There's lots and lots of pass, and Virginia still becomes a wild card, which is one of the big wild cards still out there.
That's right.
I mean, we might as well color these over here dark blue. I mean, there's.
You know what? It's going to be good for America to have a winner tonight, no matter who that winner would be, as long as it's not Kamala.
Well, who else is it going to be then?
Good for America. Well, excuse me, RFK Jr. is on quite a few ballots. So is Jill Stein. So is Chase McGullin.
So you're saying it's good for America that we have a winner tonight, as long as it's not Kamala?
Yes, as long as it's not Kamala.
So Fox
Kamala.
just called another state, so they've got it at 205 now for Trump.
Who'd they call?
How about this story coming out of Ohio? Senate race?
Utah.
Moreno.
Montana.
Puerto Rican, Marino Republican.
That's huge.
That's
beating
huge.
Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown, I got to tell you, my friends up there in Ohio, they say that Sherrod Brown, invincible. Invincible, they say. You know what? Tonight, he's invincible.
We're 65 electoral votes away. What's the New York Times meter saying now?
Okay, let's see here. Let's get
And
an
the
update.
betting markets, Terry.
Betting markets are now at an all-time high of 84%.
Are you serious?
84%. Although what's confusing
Ooh, that's
is
going even further, Mike. What's that?
84.5% for Trump and 17% for Kamala, which I don't think equals 100%. So maybe,
well, it's an average.
Maybe we might have a problem here.
So what's the number on the New York Times list, Mike?
72% chance of a Trump victory.
70?
Leaning Trump.
How
It's the
much?
best they can do. 72%
pretty
leaning Trump.
Pretty good. That's a pretty heavy lean.
It's a pretty heavy lean. I mean, it's like the Tower of Pizza. It's like,
Yeah, you go much further and it falls over.
yeah, it's like my aunt, Eileen, the one with just one leg.
All right. Can any of you geniuses like Terry especially delve into this North Carolina thing?
Thanks.
Other than our secret sauce story.
Well, let me tell you what happens in North Carolina is we got all these people. I frequent North Carolina. I think a lot of you know that.
Have you ever been there, Mike?
I go to I've got a frequent buyer membership card at consignment shop in Cashiers, North Carolina. Yeah, thank you very much. 2.5 hours from our Georgia headquarters. And I'm going to tell you, those people love America. You know who they don't love?
Who do they not love?
Kamala.
Trump's up in both Pennsylvania and Wisconsin now.
Both Pennsylvania and Wisconsin.
Barely, but
you know what? It's all it takes.
Trump is up by 50,000 in Virginia with 39% outstanding.
I'm telling you, that's it right there. That's what we need.
What?
Fairfax County.
He is now at 85% in the betting markets.
But that's the question: is what's outstanding in Virginia? Is it the urban areas that?
It's still too close, I think. I'm not ready to call Virginia. My sources are not 100% on that.
What guys? What if the historians look back and say it was
it was this?
What if it's all about Peanut? I mean, what if the Peanut thing threw enough voters over the edge? Like, this is ridiculous. Our country has gone too far. I mean, the week of the election, they run into this guy's house and they kill a squirrel in a wreck.
Hey, that doesn't look like the same Peanut. One of those is black and the other one's kind of brown.
Peanut was a baby.
Kamala.
I think this is fake news right here. There's something going on this one.
Listen, the guy found Peanut was like, do you not see the videos? Peanut was
I've seen it. I'm just talking about your picture. Those are two different squirrels.
Shut up and listen. Peanut was like this big. And then Peanut grew up. So this is two different pictures of Peanut.
He apparently was a cowboy too.
He's wearing the wrong hat though. It should be a red hat.
Peanut right there.
So you're saying Peanut got blacker as it got older?
Right. I think this is fake news.
Who were these people on TMZ?
No, now we've got TMZ on. This election night coverage is really going downhill.
What's going on right there? Look at Peanut. Watch Peanut. Whoa. You got to love Peanut.
Hey, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but I was looking earlier today at grassfire.com.
That's a great website, by the way.
About why Trump will win and has already won. If you haven't read this yet, you need to go to grassfire.com and read that. Some pretty strong analysis. Some of the best I've seen during this election cycle.
I was
very strong.
I was so convinced that we're going to have a victory tonight that I stocked up on my Trump sneakers. I've been buying those things like crazy.
What the heck are Trump's? There it is.
Oh,
You
there it
haven't
is.
seen the Trump sneakers advertised on Fox News?
Some good stuff. No, like we don't
Okay,
watch
but
Fox
guys,
News.
really,
It's
I mean,
liberal.
yesterday was Mike. You have probably the deepest well of campaign political knowledge of all of us, dating back to who knows what election, because you're so old. But what happened yesterday with Rogan and Musk?
The
And
youngest
Rogan
person on this screen, just so we know.
Say again?
I'm the youngest person on this screen.
No, you're not. Anyways, the Megyn Kelly thing, guys, is really, really amazing that even happened. It was 9 years ago. Was it 8 or 9 years ago? The showdown during the debate. He called her horrible thing. Honestly, he called her horrible things, if you remember.
Yeah.
After the debate,
As only he can do.
and then they didn't talk forever. And then he won her back over. They met at a rally, a Turning Point Action rally or whatever, and she's totally convinced that this whole gender craziness is the worst thing that's ever happened to women, to girls, to families. And she is like totally Trump. There she was giving an impassioned speech for Trump at his last Pennsylvania rally. It was really pretty amazing.
Yeah. He looks like her grandpa there. Loving, caring, kind, only going to do good things for her future.
Exactly. So here's that analysis. If you want to go to Grassfire, you can. There's Welcome to the Party, pal. Again, I should have come here for that. Anyways, yeah, it's. I think the big thing in that is we still have to have a perspective, winning or losing tonight. We have to have a perspective beyond this election. In other words, how many elections have we lived through where we put everything into it and then George W. Bush gets reelected and nothing happens, right? It's the same thing in Washington, D.C. The biggest thing about this Trump election is that it is an actual shift in the composition of the Republican Party. It's a total shift. It's actually now the party of the people, the party of the middle class, the party of securing the borders, the party of family, the party of small business. This is a total shift. I mean, the left could literally lose the bread and butter of the working class of America to a new coalition that forms around Trump with these other voices involved.
Isn't that what we're after? Coalition, consensus.
I wonder if, I was thinking about this the other night. You've got the Democratic Party is in a shift. They have shifted very far left, which has let the center left Democrats homeless. Some of them have come over to the Republican Party. Some of them have, just are disenfranchised. Meanwhile, you've got the Republican Party has shifted center right, but also center. So the question is going to be, you've got two places where you've got individuals that are kind of homeless. You've got your extreme right, which probably is a little more, disenfranchised. And then the majority of the people are your center left. And so you just wonder what's going to happen in the future. Is the Democratic Party going to stay a extreme left party, or do you see a new movement happening with them? That's what I'm curious about with regards to the Democrats.
I don't think the Democrats have any place to go. The only place they have to go is to create more dependency class voters. That's their only thing. The problem with it is that there's millions of dependency class voters. What percentage of the American people work for the stinking government at this point? It's close to 50%. It makes no sense to have half your working population working for the government. Then you have another huge percentage that are probably paying no taxes, that are living off of the government. So creating this dependency class makes it very difficult to break through, and which is why it's so important to break through right now. Musk is convinced this is the last election if Trump is going to win, because they will just so rig it with flooding the zone with enough illegals to make it impossible to win these swing states.
Yeah.
Which we know that was the prediction in Ingersoll Lockwood's book, right? The Last President, written over 100 years ago, 125 years ago, that tells the exact story that we're seeing play out tonight.
Barron Trump's story?
The story of Barron, Trump, and his mentor, the Don.
So,
And his mentor, the Don. 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 And his
So here's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that, right?
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. No.
Here's the $1 million question. What I'm seeing from my sources is in the Sun Belt, Trump is overperforming and she is underperforming in countywide. Will that carry over to the Midwest, to Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, or are we seeing a regional issue? I think she's up in Pennsylvania right now.
I think Trump's up. No, Trump's up.
Trump's up.
Right, yeah, Trump. I'm
Well,
sorry.
Butler County.
I think Trump is up in Pennsylvania now. So that's going to be the $1 million question. Will the trends in the Sun Belt transfer over to the blue wall? I think they do. I think he grabs at least 2 out of 3. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
2 out of the 3 in the blue wall.
I think he's going to get Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and he might even get Michigan. And by the way, if he does, that will match my prediction chart. Just saying.
Which, by the way, we didn't share any of that. Every single one of us made predictions prior to coming in here, so we all have.
I actually made 3 predictions.
You always had your bets.
Something's important to look at is what happens in Iowa, because that silly poll that we think is a silly poll. If Trump wins like he was polling at every other poll in Iowa, Iowa borders Wisconsin, especially the western part of Wisconsin, which is going to tend to be more rural and more conservative. I think that bleeds over into Wisconsin, maybe Minnesota. I mean, that's where you could also see a big change. But if I was close, then maybe he doesn't win those states next to it. And I'm trying to find our
Mike, I think it's time for another New York Times update. Any change?
Okay. Sorry, I had a little Clash of Clans thing going on there. Sorry.
Have they called Iowa yet?
Iowa?
Yeah, have they called it yet?
No.
Let's see here. Iowa has not been called with its 6 electoral votes, but currently with 36% of the vote in, Trump is leading by half a percentage point, 49.5 to 49%. Actually, update, 37%. Trump is now at 49.7%, and Kamala is at 48.8. So he's moving fast in Iowa, as they usually say about Iowans, that they move fast. Looks like we've got some good things.
Steve, we have a red Wavometer update.
Wavometer update.
We have a new high in the betting markets. We are now at 90.3%. 90.5.
That's
stance. And I believe what I'm seeing and what my sources are telling me is that the early vote turnout has walloped the Harris campaign. They are worried about the blue wall. They were hoping for a more competitive contest in North Carolina and Georgia, but since my sources are telling me it's going to be called, they are losing and leaking confidence. It could be a red Wavometer, whatever we're going to call it, situation.
And North Carolina and Georgia are looking quite good at the moment.
I like red Wavometer better.
Wavometer,
it feels like
yes,
you're vomiting, so it's a little better, I think. Red Wavometer. You guys got it now?
82% reporting in Georgia, and
yeah, when you want to talk about
2%,
the Atlanta Journal-Constitution down there in downtown Metro.
I've got an update from Iowa. My contacts in Iowa.
Oh,
the rural vote comes in last, so the Dems are always ahead early. We think we stay red. So that's good news. That's good news if that is true.
Thank you, Iowa.
I'm going to ask margin. What's the margin?
And here's another update. With half the vote in, the Republican candidate for Senate is up in Pennsylvania.
That's good.
Really? What's his name?
No, wait. Casey's losing?
Casey is losing right now to the Republican candidate with 50%
like legacy
in.
Pennsylvania Senate family, right? And he's
and 51%
alleged pro-life Democrats who never seems to manage to vote pro-life.
Yeah,
unless it's a useless vote that they're going to lose anyways.
My sources tell me that his strategy of trying to embrace Trump in the kind of marketing campaign for the last couple of weeks is starting to backfire on him because it's his base did not like that very much.
Who? The
All right.
Republicans?
So, guys, I think we are needing to get close to making a call for a couple of these states. You know, we like to be ahead of the major networks and things. Do we have enough information to call Georgia yet?
I think I called it a while ago, but if Doug would like to call it finally now, then that's fine.
Well, I think we can put the stamp of approval from the Funner election desk on that. What do you think?
Ooh, yes, I
you
think
ready
so.
to put the stamp?
So that
guys
means
wanna see
turn
my
it dark
stamp?
red.
Okay, I got to bounce around. Give me a second. Takes me a little while. Technology's,
I heard that, Mike.
What did Mike say?
We don't want his stamp.
Yeah, we
don't want to see it. We're not
I was
interested.
going to
in
show
it.
everybody my stamp.
No. None of that. All right. So what am I doing?
We're changing Georgia to red.
Dark red?
It already is
Dark red.
But
I
it
would
actually
say a dark
probably is-
red.
It's like a
You ready for dark
6%.
red in Georgia?
Hey,
All
look
right.
at this.
Red.
By the way,
Lock it
guys,
in.
check this out. That's my family watching the Funner election desk.
Hold on. Let me get.
Mine
let me
is
get
in the other room as well.
Let me get the big screen up. Let me
Hey,
see.
kids.
So, Doug, that means we've got about 7 people.
That's the smartest grandson in the world right there. Let me just
That's
tell you.
right.
I'm sure.
I married all those people.
Yeah, you did. Is there anyone that you didn't marry on this call?
So, yeah. I'm
Oh,
expecting to do something at Connor's wedding. Connor, if you're listening.
Lauren is probably listening, and she's the next one to get married. So,
Hey, Lauren.
So if
Favorite
you
uncle?
take away all of our family, how many do we actually have watching tonight? That's good.
oh, we can't announce that.
Yeah, okay.
It's
All right.
not
So
loud.
It's
I-
way more than our family.
I was distracted by my family. Did we make that? Did we mark Georgia red?
Yeah, like an hour ago.
Good. Okay.
Trump is up 6% in the popular vote right now.
Mike, good job, by the way, with carrying Georgia there.
So looking at 251, we're still sitting at 251.
You've redeemed
I sent you
yourself,
guys
Mike.
in our chat the link to Iowa election results. I'm gonna let one of you guys track that because I can't multitask that good.
I need from Mike a report from the New York Times. What's our time-o-meter?
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. I
We have
replaced it
Trump
with
up in the
Grassfire.
popular vote by over 5 million.
Got a chance of winning 78%. Donald Trump, 78% chance of winning.
That's a heavy tilt.
Right there. Leaning Trump.
It's a very heavy lean.
What's the electoral college number that they're projecting?
Over here is up to 295 now.
Wow.
295.
Wow.
America, you're saved.
Well, I think it's a little too early to call that, but it's
I call
looking
it.
good.
I'm going to call it.
You're gonna call it?
I'm going to go to In and Out.
All right. I'm going to check your stats that you sent, Steve.
Now you're checking the stats. I'm gonna put up
Steve's stats. Steve has stats.
Yeah,
Let's
and
put up
he
our-
asked me to check them, which I don't
put
know
up
what
each
that
of
means.
our Mike,
says
go through
political science.
your logic of getting to 307. Can you do that?
Yeah, here's my logic. I really kind of wanted to make sure I had a big expanse of red. And I feel like that my differentiator, which is still yet to be seen because polls aren't even closed, is going to be Colorado. I believe that the good people of the mountains of Colorado are going to deliver victory. You know, Jared Polis is the governor there. An okay guy, not a great Republican.
Okay. So you're banking on Colorado. Okay, Funner Terry, what do you got for us? How did you get to 312?
Well, you know, and I hate to say this to everybody on the call, but it looks like my sources are correct in their predictions as of right now. As I speak to you live, in several counties in Wisconsin, Trump is overperforming and defeating, and Kamala Harris is underperforming. And so, therefore, I predicted that you would have Georgia, North Carolina, which we've already called. I predicted Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin because I thought that would carry from the Sun Belt to the Midwest. I believe a depressed African-American vote for Kamala Harris would help Donald Trump. And I'm also predicting that it's going to be close in Nevada, but I think Trump pulls it out. I think we have a red wavometer happening in our midst, and I'm bullish about it.
Terry, just a minute ago, Terry, you said Wisconsin was underperforming. So you're like changing your tune now.
No, underperforming for
Harris.
Oh, okay.
The other thing about
overperforming for Trump.
But
the
look,
black
I
vote.
want to call you on that, Terry.
Okay.
You said that the African Americans are depressed. The ones I know are so excited about Donald Trump. One of them, he's going to lead them forward. He's going to give them opportunity they never had before. We never had it so good as we had it in 2000.
So Terry, to what you said, are we looking at a Reagan type evening here?
No,
I don't think we're looking at Reagan, but I do think, and let's see how I am. I think the popular vote is going to be very close. I think he's going to peel off a bunch of New York and California based on what I'm seeing and what my sources are telling me. And there are some people who are watching right now that I know
who these
they're
sources
friends in South Carolina that doubted the red wavometer. And so I'm just here to encourage you that the red wavometer is happening. The wave is apart, and be encouraged in the process.
Mike's having fun watching this, huh?
The red. Wow.
So what are the betting markets? Do they agree with you?
Betting market right now is at 88.6%.
Wow.
It's pretty high.
88%?
Drop
88.6. Yep.
2 points from 90.
That's so cool.
Now imagine if you were on the other side.
Yeah, that'd be bad. I'm more interested in the New York Times. They don't give it up easy.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
For them to be 78% leaning towards Trump, there's something happening.
81%.
81.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
Well, so does anybody? I'm going to move over. We should be monitoring.
Doug, let's do yours real quick.
Talking heads over there should be
Doug,
great.
let's do yours real quick. How'd you get 287?
287. Well, I was a little bit more probably pessimistic than most of the guys here. I felt really good about Arizona. Nevada, I think, is just on the edge. And if you'll notice, I did put in Virginia there. I did put North Carolina and Georgia. So, some of those states that went last time for Biden, I felt like they were still going to lean that way. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan.
Who's Biden? Sorry.
Yeah, that other guy.
So, Doug, you're basically you're based on he has to win Pennsylvania. He can't get there without Pennsylvania in your model.
In my model, but again,
Virginia.
You could take Pennsylvania out of that and switch it up with Wisconsin and give him Nevada, and then you're close,
Because he doesn't need Virginia in yours, right? Or am I not doing the math right?
Yeah, I think he needs Virginia in mine because I have that.
What do you need? 270? So that's 270.
Well, right. He wouldn't need Virginia. You could lose Virginia in mine, I think.
So you're pretty locked in that basically it's going to go, except for Virginia and Pennsylvania. Those are the two. Okay, that's good.
Probably of all of those, the one that I'm the least confident in and all of that is Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And that's primarily because of the steal.
Yeah, but then if he doesn't get Pennsylvania, then Harris wins.
Well, no, because he could pick up Wisconsin or Nevada too.
New
and
Mexico.
If he gets Virginia, that would still give him like 271 or something like that.
Okay, mine was the closest to Terry's. Actually, it's 310. I didn't do the math right because I didn't add the one in Maine that he's going to get. But I'm saying Pennsylvania and Wisconsin because I think there's a bleed over Wisconsin and Iowa. I think he wins Nevada, although we won't know that tonight. I have Virginia on there because I'm from Virginia, and it was polling so close. I think there was a poll that was actually even, which was shocking. And the crazy thing is our Senate race was, in theory, close, which didn't make any sense because we didn't hear anything about our Senate race here in Virginia. We didn't hear – it seemed like it was 10 points, 10 points, 10 points. Then it's 2 points. So mine's Virginia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and he holds the Sun Belt. I don't know. It just seems like it still comes down to the same few states, and this is why people hate the Electoral College, right? That's why some hate it, because it's these same states. What's your guys' thoughts on the Electoral College?
Well, you say the same state, Steve, but just a couple of years ago, Florida was in that. Remember,
right.
everything depended on Florida, and that's shifted. So, the whole purpose of the Electoral College was so that the big, large states don't rule the mountain and small states, and that everybody has a say. A president would never, if it was just on the popular vote, they'd never go to Wyoming or Utah to campaign, or South Dakota. And so this, the Electoral College makes it the United States. It makes the 10th Amendment, which talks about.
Doug, I want to interrupt you, but I'm seeing some new viewers coming in. So Terry, bring us up to date on where we are, because we're way ahead of where Fox is right now, and tell us why we're where we are on the map we're looking at.
So I actually was just going to give you an update. While I'll get to the Electoral College and the president's odds, but this is fascinating. So we started this morning at 12 o'clock in the morning on Election Day. We started with Kamala Harris with a 73% chance, the odds makers, of winning the popular vote. Right now, we now have a total flip where Donald Trump has a 68% chance of winning the popular vote. That's almost a 100% turnaround from 12 o'clock this morning. So that's just the popular vote. When we look at the presidential vote, he is at, let's see, get my little update here. Sources tell me he is at 88.1% to win the presidency of the United States.
Now let's talk about that popular vote change. How much of that comes from Florida? Florida just like showing up for what's right and true.
Well, honestly, when you see Miami-Dade, when that came out, that Miami-Dade County was red, I think that sent shockwaves to because they were, you remember, Harris was touting, we don't think we're going to win, but we think it's going to be close. And now you're looking compared to 2020, and Trump overperformed in Florida. In all the states where they were hoping it'd be close, he's overperformed. And in all the states that she needs to win, and she was supposedly tied, right now, even in Wisconsin, even in Michigan, even in Pennsylvania, with votes coming out in the counties, Trump is overperforming, she is underperforming. And I think that's why you're seeing the betting markets really turn around and flip for Trump.
I think that's right.
So we're basing this on North Carolina and Georgia, which all the main groups, the networks haven't called yet. But we're strong in North Carolina, Georgia. We're waiting on. You're feeling better and better, Terry, about Wisconsin. Is that what you're hearing?
And my sources are telling me that. And Steve, one more little fact to interrupt. Said this morning we started the day where the odds maker said Democrats win both the popular vote and the presidency. He had a 40% chance of that, where Donald Trump had a 26% chance. And right now, as it sits, the Republicans Party winning the presidency and the popular vote stands at 72%.
So tell me, what do you guys think? What do you assess the voting, the betting odds on this? What is that actually telling us? Anyone have a thought?
Yeah, well, I think half of that is computerized, right? It's much smarter intelligence than we could possibly have. Numbers are coming from.
Let's just turn to the computers.
Overlords.
So is it just responding to people's betting patterns?
Yes, that's exactly what it's responding to. Like when you vote for Nebraska football on a Saturday, it's all about the odds, right?
So more and more people are looking at the data and they're going, Trump's going to win. So they keep upping those odds so that it gets people to vote on Kamala if they want to. Gotcha.
So the big question tonight is, if this trend keeps moving the way we see it moving, how big are Donald Trump's coattails in regards to the House and the Senate?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of coattails I think the House. He's got to. They got to win the House. I mean,
We
the
got to win
nightmare
both.
scenario is Trump losing. The second nightmare scenario is Trump winning, and somehow Republicans lose the House by 1 vote, because then they will not certify him. They just won't. They're just that. Everything they claim that Republicans did 4 years ago, they will do in spades. This is their pattern, right? Russia, Russia, Russia. When they're the ones colluding with Russia, this is exactly what they do every single time. So the second nightmare is Trump wins, and somehow we lose the House by 2 votes.
But don't forget, the ones that will be certifying the election are going to be this sitting Congress.
No, it's the new Congress that certifies. But someone check me on that. I'm pretty sure it's the new Congress gets seated. You know what?
No. It's the current Congress.
It's the current Congress.
I'm getting a word now from Major Harris.
But you didn't need that. You had me on board. So,
well, no, I still needed somebody else.
I thought it was the new Congress.
Well, you remember the whole scandal with Vice President there, and that was the whole problem, was that Donald Trump wanted his vice president to certify it, and he wouldn't.
Okay, Terry, one more time. Why is our map more red than Fox News's map? Go ahead, explain.
I think they are waiting for a couple of counties to come in before they call it. They don't want to be bullish on it. But I do have an update. My sources who have had open lines of communication with the Harris campaign for several hours, they've been very, very responsive to anything that we've contacted them about. Within the last 45 minutes, they have gone dark. They are not responding to any texts. They don't want to come out. They don't want to talk, which shows you the panic happening in the Harris campaign. I remember about in 2016, I had a few security officials on the outside of the door of the Clinton residences. They heard a lot of things crashing and glass breaking and a lot of screaming and upsetness. And my reports are telling me they're not hearing all of that, but they are hearing that there is doom and gloom in the Harris campaign right now. And so, again, it's just a matter of time before these states start starting to fall for Trump.
And I would like to say that Terry is a pastor and he can't lie. So that's true.
Hillary was at the hotel.
I don't know that most people would agree with that statement.
In 2016, remember, Hillary was at the hotel. So I think what you were hearing at the Clinton residence was just another one of Bill's dates.
Most likely.
Well, Fox News just showed a picture of the Harris campaign headquarters, and people didn't look super happy.
We've reached another milestone in live viewing. I won't tell you what it is, but it's another huge milestone. So
good.
It's exciting.
Hey, we just want to welcome you all, and thank you for being here. We want to point out that around here, you're not red or blue. You're you.
And for some of you that are just joining us too, we need to show you what we're concerned about in Pennsylvania right now. I mean, this is the one, even though things are looking good, we're always aware of the possibility of the steal. So, we might want to pop up that little graphic for us, Steve, there. And we're watching in the PA there.
Which graphic is that?
The steal-o-meter, where we stop the steal.
Up.
Yeah, steal alert. Steal alert. We got to keep Pennsylvania from going in the wrong direction. That's right.
Well, that's the thing that kicked me off that Bill Hemmer showed the hour by hour in Georgia. Right. Up until like 9 o'clock in 2020, like he did not show it to 2 a.m. when they stole the whole vote. And he didn't do it intentionally because he knows that people would have been freaking out to see that, on the graphic. He had the 2 lines. Did you guys see that one? He had the 2 lines.
Yep.
And he stops it. It's like he stopped it before any action happened. Anyways.
New York Times update, 83% chance of victory.
Wow.
Let's see it. Wow.
Leaning.
Let's see your
There you go. Here's my whiteboard. Yeah, here you go.
See if you can get it angled so we can see it this time.
There we go. Good job.
What kind of light do you have?
That's a pretty heavy leaning.
Yeah.
That's a pretty hard lean, yeah.
Yeah.
You go in much further than that, and it's going to tip over. That's for sure.
With a feather.
All right. So what are we thinking? Are we thinking that that anything's going to happen here in the next at the 11 o'clock hour, or what's going to?
Well, I don't know about you, but here California, it's 7:30. So
Time for dinner for you. You've been snacking all night.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's go back to our map because the map is
Well, so at what point are we calling North Carolina? Are we getting close to that? I think we'd leave that to Terry. What do you think, Terry? You called
Repeat that
Georgia.
question. I was talking to my sources.
You called Georgia, but you didn't officially call North Carolina. At what point are you going to be ready to call that?
I've called North Carolina. North Carolina and Georgia are a package deal. They're called. And I want to say that there are reports coming out of the Harris campaign that they are admitting that their suburb hope of a stronger turnout of the suburban female vote for Harris did not materialize. And so now they are counting on their urban vote and their base to turn out. But as we've noticed through the counties, that is, and Mike, when I said depressed, I didn't mean depressed emotionally, but a depressed voter turnout has occurred, and we're not seeing as much. And so my prediction is, and I think you see it, Pennsylvania, Trump is up 3% now in Pennsylvania. I think we are seeing those numbers bear true.
And just an update for you guys.
Date from the New York Times.
What from New York Times?
84% chance of victory, and 297 is their current electoral vote.
And CNN is now stating that the Republicans have flipped 3 seats in the House. So that's nice.
What's your count there? I got 48 so far. Is that right?
48 what?
48 seats in the House so far. Oh, sorry. In the Senate. I get those.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the House.
and Senate. It's just
the upper,
one has like
lower?
100, one is 435. I know it's real confusing.
Republicans have 45 in the Senate now with 1 flipped.
Okay,
So,
I'm doing 48. So,
but we're in good shape with, I think, the ones that are flipped are what we're concerned about right now. So
New York
three flips in the House and 1 flip in the Senate. So that's good.
Yeah, so where do we stand in the House? Like, what does that project? How are we feeling?
Just a big development here.
Oh.
New York Times has called Georgia and North Carolina for Trump.
Who did?
New York Times.
Wow.
Well, they came in right after the Funner election.
Right
desk.
after Funner election desk. You saw it here first.
Thank you very much, New York Times.
Yes.
Welcome to the party. Maybe I should play welcome to Party Pal for them.
But we're going to have to put our brains in gear for Virginia. That's going to be a little bit harder to call. I think that's going to be the next tough
I
one.
want to see the Iowa results because if Iowa's big, we're going to feel even better about Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, she is taken over in Virginia, so she is ahead in Virginia.
Okay.
Trump has crushed it in Iowa, though. 12
Iowa.
points. 12 points.
12 points.
Iowa's 12 points.
Yeah, but we're less than a point separating it in Virginia, and we're still at about 75%. So I think
yeah, go ahead.
what
Sorry,
we need to do is analyze what's still outstanding, and I don't know that.
Well, I was wondering too. I wonder if we could do this, Steve. Now that we've got North Carolina and Georgia,
yeah,
if one of us can grab the percentages, what percentage are we leading in those states, and then compare that to the polls? Like, how many points is Trump polling ahead, and maybe we can project that across the board to that under polling that we see. Maybe we can now.
That seems like a lot of work, Terry.
Okay, so North Carolina, Trump was up 1.5 points. Georgia was up 1.9 points, and that's the real clear politics average you see right here. So he's basically 2 points and 1.5 points. So I don't know where that was where he was polling. So the question is that consistent? Is the polls turning out to be pretty consistent? It's feeling like the polls are coming out pretty close to what we're seeing in reality.
Yeah, I got to tell you, my little old ladies at the New York Times with their colored pencils are so busy. They're so furiously sketching right now. 86% chance of Trump.
Wow.
We want to see that. Show us that.
The vaunted, the always reliable New York Times.
Show us that graphic.
Yeah, let me show you this graphic. Likely Trump. It's changed to likely Trump.
Wow.
We're not leaning. We're likely Trump.
Wow. That's huge.
Congratulations, Mr. President. We are glad to pledge our allegiance and serve you faithfully. Thank you for saving us from that woman.
Look at this, guys. My prophecy is going to come true.
The prophecy.
That best-selling book, I know.
The selling book. It's what we call a selling book, Doug.
Steve, I want to go back to your
21 years of Trump.
I want to go back to your map and let's look at some.
I want to know. I called it first. 21 years of Trump.
I want to go look back to your map.
I even designed the cover.
I mean, to be fair, back when all of us thought you were crazy, you were on the Trump train.
I was on the Trump train. I called Trump in 2015 before the first vote was cast.
Yeah, but more importantly, a year ago, you called Trump when the rest of us were like, no, not a chance.
Yeah, like
it was Steve who was saying, yep, it's going to happen.
Trump is the most significant thing Trump is doing is he's transforming American politics. In my little write-up that you mentioned, I compared it from a sports metaphor of Steph Curry. If you guys know Steph Curry, literally a 6'3", 180-pound guard, transformed the sport of basketball. If you have a child, a grandchild, a nephew, and niece plays basketball, they get a ball and they run to the three-point line and shoot. When I was growing up, if I shot from three-point line, coach put me on the bench. There was no three-point line. I'm that old. But anyways, he's totally transformed the game of basketball. Trump has transformed American politics, which is why I think Reagan is the next president that transformed American politics in our lifetimes. Trump has the chance of even transforming it more. It's hard to argue that he'd do more than Reagan because he took us out of the Cold War, defeated communism. It's hard because he stared down, called it the evil empire. It'd be hard to do more than that. But the challenges that Trump faces now and the society faces now are actually bigger, you could argue, because they're more fundamental. I mean, we go down to it. What's male and female? Do we have a border? These are basic things that even Reagan didn't have to deal with. So
Fox News just projected Iowa goes to Trump.
You trying to get me to shut up, Doug? I get it.
Yeah, I was kind of moving you
Thanks,
along.
Fox.
I already had Iowa on there. It's red.
You're behind, Doug.
And red. So, and not only that it's Trump, it's 12 points Trump, right?
Doug, what happened to that behind lady?
Which makes that stupid poll. That stupid poll that lady put out is trash. And I think we're going to see this bleed into Wisconsin.
Steve, you can't miss this. I think one of our election desk employees is about 20 minutes behind.
Hey, I keep asking Steve to help me with something here. I want you to play with the board without Virginia and Pennsylvania. What is our route to winning without those two states right now?
Without Virginia and Pennsylvania?
Without Virginia, do we have to sweep?
We need 19 or 251. If we're counting Iowa, we need 19. So there's 17 here. That's not enough. So Trump has to get one of these two. Assuming Minnesota goes, assuming New Mexico doesn't come to Trump, but I don't know that that's true. So the problem
he could do it with
that's why it's called the stinking Keystone State.
But he could do it with Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada.
He can win it with Wisconsin and Arizona. Can't win with Wisconsin and Nevada. It's 17, so he's one short.
Right, but if he had Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada, and he lost Virginia and Pennsylvania, he would still do it.
Wisconsin and Arizona wins it. Michigan and Wisconsin wins it. Michigan and Arizona wins it. Nevada and Michigan.
There's a lot of pathways now.
Nevada and Michigan wins it too because that's 21.
So even without these two major biggies, we still have some decent hope.
Yes.
Because Arizona looks really good. Nevada is right there. And so really kind of comes down
to here's
what
the problem, Doug. Here's the problem. Let me show you the problem. Over 270. Exactly 270. And she wins the blue wall. And Trump wins Nevada, Arizona, and Virginia. I mean, even if he wins, you don't win, you lose Virginia, wins Nevada and Arizona, she wins. So that's why they're all in Pennsylvania. That's why she only was in Pennsylvania. They must have had their polling. She got out of North Carolina toward the end. She didn't. She spent the last 2 days, I think, solid in Pennsylvania. They must have said they have to win Pennsylvania, and then they would assume that they could steal Wisconsin and Michigan or something. I don't know.
That's why the Republicans in the district in Nebraska, there was litigation that could have helped the Republicans in that Nebraska one electoral vote district. They were there for a while in the hopes that they could gain it. It didn't go their way. And that one vote, like you said, Steve, if she wins the blue wall, and it doesn't matter, she wins. So
Yes.
that's why that one electoral vote could give her 270. That's why the Republicans were trying to pull that away from her.
Which is why you remember 4 years ago, it came down to Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, right? That's where the steal happened.
Yeah. I do have an update on the markets. We are now at an all-time high. We are at 93%.
Wow.
93% on the markets.
93% on the markets. That's for the presidency. And then for the popular vote and presidency at an all-time high, we are now at 77%.
So is this just false enthusiasm, or is there a sense that Wisconsin's going to go red, Arizona's going to go red?
I think it's looking good in all three areas right now. For the blue wall is looking good. Like if I was Trump, I'd be excited. If I'm Harris, I'm shaking in my boots.
Have we seen Trump yet? Has he come out? Has he talked to the crowd?
No, they never do that till the end, right?
But yeah, my sources tell me he has a Diet Coke and a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger in his hand, and McDonald's gave him his own French fry maker and Frosty maker, and he's making Frosties and French fries.
I don't trust your sources. He likes filet of fish.
And also, McDonald's doesn't have Frosties.
Well, you know what I mean. The McFlurries, excuse me, McFlurries. A McFlurry sounds a lot like a red wavometer. That's what I think.
He does sound a little bit like the wavometer.
He's got that special spoon, though.
That's true. It's got a patent on it. Yes.
From
Moscow. I'm surprised we haven't gotten any comments from the those that are watching. We've not gotten any questions.
Do we have a comment section?
No, we haven't figured out the comments.
We haven't figured out how to do that part yet.
Oh wait, there's a lot of comments on here.
There's 24 comments.
Oh.
Wow, they're kind of ahead of us.
We're so sorry for not responding to your comments. We're just learning this system.
Wow, these are some excellent comments over here. Thank you, Drew. Terry, which I think is Connor, Sam, Tee Off Golf, Stephen Forrest, Leah, Michael, JM, Patrick, Lena, and B&L Peters. And also, thank you, Diane.
Now that we know we have comments, could you please comment more?
We'll actually read them this time.
I would like comments maybe about who your favorite commentator is.
Your favorite commentator.
Oh my
goodness.
I see those hands.
Or how to say red wavometer. All right. Any news, gentlemen?
Well, let me give you the latest update on the New York Times. They have made Wisconsin and Arizona both lean Republican. They made Virginia very likely Democratic, but Pennsylvania still a toss-up, although they do say Trump is ahead by 3 percentage points.
So they're saying they're looking at
Virginia falling.
Arizona and Nevada, you said, were leaning Republican?
Arizona and Wisconsin.
Arizona and Wisconsin are leaning Republican. That does it. It's done. 272.
I do have an update on Iowa. Iowa now Trump leads 14.5 points.
This is just destroying.
Yes, that 3-point outlier looks very foolish right now, and she was an amazing pollster.
Harris was up 3 points.
Right. So that's a 17-point swing.
Had any of you heard of the Spinster poll before it suddenly burst into the news? Or was that something that was manufactured by these Democrats?
I think that actually she's a pretty renowned pollster in Iowa.
No, I've talked to my friends in Iowa.
No?
They've never heard of her.
Okay.
There's a lot of feeling that she may not even exist. She might be like that Kamlaka person.
Like the Kamlaka person?
Yeah. Have you ever seen her in person? No.
No, I've never seen her.
Have you gone to the naval yards and seen her? No. Do we even know Biden
news
has
up.
a president?
I got an update.
Oh.
Numbers of Hispanics voting Republican is way over 2020. What you had noted, Terry, about the black vote, not only is it suppressed, but I think it's about maybe 5 to 10% higher going for Trump. So that goes two ways, right? If Trump could get, what's the number they're talking about? 20% of the black vote, and it's suppressed, the vote is lower. That might be enough to swing in some of these close races, but.
If that's true, Steve, then she doesn't have a chance. Like if those numbers bear out, the African American vote being that high, then she needed it to be much higher. And the Hispanic vote right now, Trump has Hispanic men by 45%. That's an incredible number for Trump in that process. So he's doing really well.
That is excellent. Yeah.
So do we have any updates on Michigan?
I haven't heard anything on Michigan. But that's the interesting thing about Trump is that, the establishment Republicans, they literally hate Trump to this day. Mitch McConnell hates Trump, right? And the whole establishment wing of the party hates him. And yet Trump is the one guy who's gone and reached out to groups that the Republicans generally don't do well with, and will probably do better with Hispanics, better with blacks than any Republican has done in 50 years. It's really pretty crazy that the level of hatred for Trump, and he's doing exactly what the Republicans need to do to not become a minority party forever.
Well, that's because Mitch McConnell's a member of the Uniparty. He's always been in the Uniparty. He's not conservative.
The what?
The Uniparty.
Uniparty?
Yeah. That's the Washington elite.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So if Pennsylvania doesn't come down tonight.
Yeah, let me tell you what's happening in Pennsylvania. We've just gotten word from the Secretary of State in Pennsylvania that quite a few of those voting machines that we called into question earlier, based on our own personal experiences, have failed. So they are having to hand count ballots, hand counting ballots, looking at paper with their eyes in Pennsylvania.
Hopefully they can count.
That's good, though, right?
If I need to, I could probably pull off my little old ladies in the New York Times with their colored pencils now to go help them count votes in Pennsylvania.
Well, their job's almost done, because what if they put it to like 100% now, right?
Well, not quite 100. Let's see what it is.
Arizona's like dead even, 50% of the vote in. Trump's up in Pennsylvania, though.
Interesting that Arizona is reporting 50% already, and their polls closed. So,
Wisconsin, Trump's up 2 points.
Do you know what this says? And my sources are telling me that Miami-Dade County was not just an outlier for the Cuban vote. The fact that he is pulling 45% of Latin males is an astronomical number for any Republican candidate. And my sources tell me that if everything pans out, there literally is no chance of her pulling off the only path to victory, which is to win the blue wall, that she basically has no path.
So
that's what my sources are saying.
How is it that this Drew guy knows me? He said I was good for the first hour, but I'm starting to slow down after it's my bedtime. It is absolutely true.
He knows you well. Yes. You're right, Littlefoot, about the World Economic Forum.
My wisdom stays, though.
Well, that's a slam, Doug.
Script that we can just say for him.
Well, I'm just saying that you still get my wisdom, even though I might not be as engaged.
Okay,
so here's Michigan. Trump is ahead with 26% of the vote in, 50.9 to 47.3. That's 26% of the vote in for Michigan.
It's pretty good. New York Times is predicting that Trump will win the popular vote by 1%, which I believe is exactly what I predicted.
No, you predicted he would lose the popular vote.
And one of my predictions.
By 1%.
prediction had him winning by 1%.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was my prediction. Trump 49, Kamala
Yeah,
48.
I think that was Steve's.
I think I was close too.
I think two people can say the same thing. Isn't that what America's about?
Wisconsin is pretty close at 58% counting. Trump at 50.2, Kamala at 48.3.
Okay, it's going to come down to, it's just crazy to think that this is literally going to come down to that stinking blue wall. And can Trump break through in Nevada and Arizona and pick up one other state?
Which we'd predicted months ago.
It would have been nice. I mean, Virginia, Virginia seems to trend blue the more votes they count. I mean, I don't know how that happens in all these states, but that's what happened 4 years ago. And it seems like it's trending blue as we get more votes coming in Virginia.
But the fact that, Steve, we're talking about still not calling Virginia and it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, if you're a Harris campaign, you are just distraught because that cannot mean good for the blue wall.
Well, there must be some precincts out that we don't know about. Yeah.
We have not reached 10:57 p.m.
Mike's had his 7th Red Bull, I think. Have you finished all those, Mike?
Has New Hampshire been called?
Yeah,
yes.
Called a long time ago.
Yeah,
you were sleeping during that. That was about an hour ago.
Look at the New York Times. That's amazing.
I have it there. There you go.
Yep.
Okay. So we're just down to 6, 7 states.
Yeah, we're kind of
swing states. That's pretty amazing.
The new New York Times Electoral College estimate would be 301 for Trump.
So let's see. How do they get to 301 from here?
They're using a lot of the different combinations of the states, and each one of the states gets a different number of electoral votes.
What?
A little update for popular vote winner. He has an 81% chance of winning the popular vote now.
The betting odds are 81%, you said.
Yep. And the presidential odds are now sitting at 94%.
Wow.
So
now let me be blunt, guys. If I was a betting person, I'd bet on Kamala right now because it doesn't seem to be that clear. 94%. I mean,
so Fox News just gave Trump another electoral vote. Which one would that be?
That was Maine.
The Maine one.
Yeah.
They picked up that one. Okay.
we gave him that one a long time ago.
Right.
They're still catching up, aren't they?
Yep. Bandel Peters says Milwaukee could change Wisconsin's outcome middle of the night like last time.
Yeah. Oh, steal alert. Steal alert. Steal alert.
Might be a steal alert.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks, Brenda. Thanks for.
Yes, thank you for Brenda.
Middle of the night.
Is this going to happen again?
No.
No, I'm looking at the. I was looking at the Harris campaign. They are not looking very excited right now, as you can imagine.
I heard that she has scheduled another appearance for Saturday Night Live next Saturday because she's looking for a job.
Hey, let's talk about that. Did that totally backfire on her when they pulled that steal and then he got prime time for Sunday Night Football, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that carries a far bigger audience than what she got.
Way more.
Like 100 times more than Stupid Saturday Night Live. It probably did. Plus, all she did was copy Trump's skit from 8 years ago. You guys saw that too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Fallon.
How can she get away with just copying him on so many different things and then copying this? You think if you had any self-respect when they came to you with that script, you said, I can't do that because Trump did that 8 years ago.
Are you kidding me? It was like a week after he said he wasn't going to tax tips. She came out and said, I'm not going to tax tips. That's all she does is copy.
We get it
for the wall.
A week after he gives his acceptance speech, she'll probably be giving hers.
Probably.
All right, let's go back to the map again. Let's just make sure we're refreshing on this. We're sitting on the blue wall, and this is why it's so important. If Kamala wins the blue wall, we'll just move them all over. Watch the vote total. 270, which means game over. if she wins the blue wall from what we're looking at right now, assuming she wins Virginia. So that would be Trump winning Nevada and Arizona. It's going to literally come down to, can she win all three of these? I'm saying Wisconsin is going to be what we're seeing in Iowa. Is we're going to see enough of that in Wisconsin that Wisconsin's going to stay with Trump, which makes a difference, but does not put him over the top. 261 needs 9. Arizona wins it. Michigan wins. He still needs another state. Virginia, Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania. I don't know why now they're 90%. It still seems like it's very much up in the air, but
Wisconsin's looking like our best hope to break the blue wall right now, quite honestly.
You think Wisconsin's the best hope to break the blue wall?
Well, it seems like it. He's ahead there. There's over 50% of the vote counted. So, I mean, obviously we don't know which vote is still outstanding at the moment, but.
Schiff won the Senate race in California.
Well, what do you know? California just went to Kamala. Mike, you've been sleeping down there.
Kamala, who?
Yeah, that person.
So we're still sitting on the same states. If Trump wins Wisconsin, has Minnesota been called? Did I miss that?
Idaho just was called.
I don't remember it.
I was counting on Idaho.
We're not losing Montana, right? Or Utah.
Montana's already been called. Utah's already been called.
Yep.
Missouri called?
And Missouri's been called.
Missouri, another one of my heartland countries, all of my dads.
So Trump could get to 261 with Wisconsin. He still needs 9. 9. Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, all get there. Arizona turns out to be huge. Look at that.
What's our count in Arizona right now? Does anybody have eyes on that?
Arizona's huge because Arizona, Michigan would be bigger, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like Wisconsin. Let's leave Wisconsin in the light pink. Not much data in Arizona yet that we're seeing.
Arizona, 0.1%, a tenth of a percent difference right now with half the vote counted, but good evidence that the remaining vote count will go towards President Trump.
South Carolina, yep, that's already been, we called that a long time ago, and that's a done deal.
Yeah, that was the first state we called, Doug, South Carolina.
No, we called Georgia before South Carolina.
No.
Thanks, Tee Off Golf.
No, we called South Carolina first.
Comment.
Huh?
We want to thank Tee Off Golf for tuning in. He thanked us for a nice live stream.
Tee Off Golf.
Yeah,
it's a good name right there.
Tee Off, who's going to win?
You know what we're going to have more of in the White House starting on January 20th is some golf.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, not in the White House.
Not so much beach time like we've had with this guy.
I wonder what sport Kamaka plays.
Yeah, Virginia's looking a little bit more scary.
Well, Virginia, we've written it off, right? It's not really.
No, not really. Not totally. No. We don't know where those outstanding votes still are.
Still too close to call, but 75%'s in. Trump. This is the problem. We got to about midnight 4 years ago, and then the nightmare started.
That's right. We all went to bed, and we woke up in the morning, and the steal had taken place.
Well, let's be honest. When we got to midnight, but the whole way, it was not looking good the whole way. We were not feeling great all the way up. It was too we weren't seeing counties overperforming for Trump. Like it was more flipped. It was Biden's doing well, Biden's doing well, Biden's doing well. This to me is the complete opposite. We've just seen, positive news for Trump where we didn't expect it come true. And Harris, I think, underperformed in a lot of ways.
Washington Post is saying that Trump is favored to win the election. Washington Post. Jeff Bezos, a good buddy of mine, trying to bring some respect back to journalism. Washington Post is saying
we haven't had any
Given numbers, Mike, or are they just saying
no numbers yet, just saying that she has a slim chance to pull ahead, but they think it's going to be Trump.
We haven't done any Twitter updates tonight. Have we gotten any good feedback on?
Elon is collecting any claims of voter irregularities. So if you have experienced that and you're watching tonight, please go and tell Elon about it on the X.
I won $1 million today from him.
You did?
Yeah, I was the last one to win.
Oh, congratulations. It's good news.
Pennsylvania, 70% in. We're up.
I have some breaking news. Breaking news. So the odds makers believe that the state of Pennsylvania has a 90% chance of going to Donald Trump.
Wow.
90%?
90%.
Unfortunately, Virginia has a 98% chance of going to Kamala.
We'll
take one of those
Locking
two.
in Virginia?
Yeah. I think you can call Virginia.
Let's call Virginia. Sad as it is. We'll leave Wisconsin as in the wall.
But Pennsylvania, 90%.
So the odds, the betting numbers are 90%.
Well, no one worked harder for Pennsylvania than Donald J. Trump. He was there. People there realized that he was on their side. They understood where they had been betrayed by somebody that they considered one of their own, the bottom guy. They thought he was one of them, and it turned out he wasn't. But Donald J. Trump was.
Well, we got some interesting news in the chat. Did you see this from Mr. Peters there? Milwaukee is retabulating 31,000 votes because a Republican poll watcher discovered that the tabulation machines were not locked as they should have been. Sounds like Colorado.
Sounds like a steal alert there.
Steal alert. That is definitely
be
steal
a
alert.
steal alert.
Steal alert.
Yeah, they say that they're not going to have the Wisconsin. They're not going to go home, but the Wisconsin vote, unless it gets much larger, we're not going to know Wisconsin for a long time.
All right. Marino, the winner of Ohio.
That's big.
That's a win?
That's a win. That's a big one.
So what does that make us? Is that up?
+2?
+2.
That's +2.
I've got
That's
it
50,
49
right?
so far. 49 so far.
And Steve, think about this.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, if Pennsylvania is as strong right now, what does that mean for the Senate race in Pennsylvania?
Oh, 50 Republicans now.
That's what I said, 50. And you said 49.
51.
Where's 51?
51 Republicans in the Senate.
From what? Who's the 51st?
It is
Marino?
We flipped two.
Marino. I don't know if you guys remember that Broadway musical, West Side Story. But
Tell us about it, Mike.
His aunt was the star of that. I want to leave in America. I want to leave in America. Remember? You guys remember that?
We do. That was pretty good,
You
Mike.
could drop into some another musical that we like. What's the other one that we like so much?
Les Mis.
That one. Yeah, do some of that.
The Greatest Showman. This
Yeah.
is the greatest show. I was thinking about Les Mis and its relevance to modern American politics. The way the people at the barricade rose up, and the first time, you know what, they didn't win. They lost. Many of them lost their lives, but then they came back. The French Revolution, and heads rolled.
It's awesome.
That's a pretty big win in Ohio with Marino.
Gonna say it is.
Beating incumbent Brown there.
We're still sitting on the same blue wall, though, guys, for the presidency. Although betting odds keep going up.
I love it, Steve. You missed it. Bernie Moreno, he's giving his acceptance speech.
Yeah.
He just pointed out and said, we now have control of the Senate. Chuck Schumer, thank you so much for the help. And by the way, you're fired.
That's great.
That's good.
That's awesome.
You know, out here in California, you may know that Schiff was running for Senate. And, of course, he won because we're in California. But it's good to know that he's going to be part of a minority party. Won't have much to say. Maybe we'll put him.
I'll take him out.
Doug, are you talking to your team there?
Yeah, sorry. I was talking to my election helpers.
Tell her we said hi.
Tell her we said hi.
She's the brains of the operation.
He is. We all know that.
Guys, I think we might need a red wavometer.
We need something right now.
I think the red wavometer needs to go up a
See
little.
where it is. Let's see where it is.
Whoa!
That is good. Moreno called it a red, white, and blue wave.
Did he call it a red wavometer?
He did not call it a red wavometer. That's one step ahead of
It
that.
would have been better if he called it a red wavometer.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Is this trademarked, the red wavometer thing?
Not yet. I'm sure you'll take care of that for me, Mike.
We got the website now.
Do you have redwavometer.com yet?
We have Sam in the chat bar thinking it's time to call Pennsylvania. Whoa.
Wow,
Whoa.
I wonder if he's talking to my sources.
I think he just wants to go to bed. Sam, are you tired? I was like,
Sam, what's your evidence? Give us something.
So I think what Sam might say is that the New York Times has also said Pennsylvania leans Republican, and Trump's lead there is starting to increase at a rapid pace, like a Tesla from start.
That is a good point. If we could call that, we could all go to bed because that would be it. I mean, if we ended up being able to call Pennsylvania tonight, we got Arizona and it'd be done, or Wisconsin, or
Or Pennsylvania. Let's go back to the map and let's look at this. Is the reality of where we're at. Over.
That's right.
Polls are now closed here in California.
We go home if
You
Pennsylvania.
guys know what the keystone is? You guys know what a keystone is?
The keystone is that stone that goes in between two rocks to make it a firm and strong foundation.
It's the stone at the top of the arch, right? Isn't that the keystone?
Yeah, that's what I said. I just
holds the whole thing together. It literally is the keystone for Donald J. Trump.
It's the key.
Sam's got some good data there. 3.5 points with 75% of the votes counted.
Call it.
Yeah, but where is?
Listen, that's it. That's it. I guess it's a 270, and the Democrats would freak if Trump won with 270. Can you imagine?
Well, if he could win the popular vote too, they'd have less of a.
Yeah, it's just crazy how this one stupid elector in Nebraska could screw us. Like what?
Well, and that's what the whole Trump campaign was saying from the very beginning. Remember that big campaign to try to get the legislature to change that so that it was an all or nothing state, and they wouldn't do it at the last minute.
Also, Nebraska started the football season 5-1.
They didn't finish 5-1 though, did they?
Well, it's not over yet, is it?
What's their record now, Mike?
5-4.
5-4.
We're still a winning season.
That reminds me of my Virginia Cavaliers, who started 5-1 as well, I think, and now they're not 5-1. So,
yeah,
it's all right.
We haven't checked in with the New York Times recently, Mike.
Hey, New York Times, I was just about to tell you, 89% chance of victory. Right here, 89% chance of victory. I think when that number hits 90%, then that's a reason that Doug can go to bed.
Yeah, well, especially since I have to go to Brazil tomorrow. So,
like I said, what's the electoral college count for them?
301. 301 for Trump.
301 for Trump.
Yep, those ometers are way over there. I just remember. Do you remember 2016 watching the first version of this needle move? Remember those people in the crowd at the Hillary campaign headquarters just weeping?
Elon Musk is calling game, set, match.
Nice.
He's doing that off of the poly markets, which I just don't quite get.
Well, maybe we need to do a little bit more research into that next year.
Well, Steve, no offense, but I think Elon Musk has a little bit more brain power than the four of us combined.
Oh, thanks. You're probably right.
To be fair,
he
invented space.
And also, as the prophecy foretold, it got to 69.4%.
He's at 52% in the popular vote right now. That's crazy.
Yep. Now, I haven't looked at Drudge Report since like 2012. Let me go up and see what they're saying. Trump 52.4%, Harris 46.3%.
That's crazy.
I'm sure.
I'm
sure Matt Drudge is going to make his way over to the light now that.
No, he's not. He's a never Trumper. He hates Trump.
And just an update: we are not at 51 Senate seats yet. We're at 50.
No.
So since I'm the meme lord, can you see that?
Nope.
I guess. You're like
Doug, can you say the words for us?
I guess the elections are not rigged after all.
Huh?
Donald Trump.
Oh.
Hey,
look at that.
He's a bit about his makeup and his hair. I think they've gotten so much better in this election cycle. And I want to give credit where credit is due. MSNBC has a great picture of President Trump as their SIG picture. Not such a great one of Kamala, but of him, I think they might be making a little bit of a turn.
Look at this, Musk. I just voted in South Texas. Starbase says now I'm headed to Florida tomorrow. I'm going to be there with President Trump and JD and a bunch of other cool people. The Trump team is fun. They have a great sense of humor. They make jokes. Trump has lots of self-deprecating humor.
That's awesome.
You know, I love the reality that Trump has brought to politics that we've probably never had in any of our lifetimes. And I know it's grated people over the years because of the way he talks, but there's a reality to it. My goodness, he talks like a human. He doesn't talk like a machine. You saw the videos with Kamala. They had 9 different campaign appearances where she said exactly the same thing, the same hand motions and everything. Yeah, people complain because Trump will say something that you can take out of context if you want to. But the beauty of Trump is he actually can do humor. He can actually tell you what you never doubt what he actually thinks. I mean, you had a presidential candidate who wouldn't say how she voted on a referendum in California.
Terrible.
Absolutely terrible.
And a really relevant, important referendum. This is about crime. She's supposed to be the expert on crime, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say her campaign is a crime.
There you go. I totally agree.
In the blue wall with Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are much higher. He is winning by at least 3 points in Pennsylvania and 3 points in Wisconsin right now. And Michigan, he's up.
In?
So with 66% of the Wisconsin vote, he's up 3 points, 51-48. Pennsylvania with 76%, and he's up 3 points. And he's up 200 or about 160, 170,000. He's up in Pennsylvania right now.
How much in Michigan?
Michigan is only 33%, but he's up by 6 points.
Okay, big news, breaking news. The needle says 90.
Wow.
90%?
90% chance of a Trump victory.
And what's the electoral count at? Still 300?
301.
Still 301.
They're getting more confident in that, though.
Okay, so now there's a big difference between the New York Times numbers and the poly market numbers. Poly market numbers is a measure of what's happening in the betting, right?
Right.
But New York Times is looking at data
Probability.
and saying, based on the data we are seeing, it's 90% probability that Trump wins.
It's a pretty high percentage.
It's interesting that the poly markets is tracking that pretty closely.
I'm
Probably
sure
the New
they're
York
watching
Times
it,
is
right?
getting their data from poly markets.
He's
You're
at
putting your dollar
90.
down, you're watching it.
He's at 94% on to win the presidency. I mean, 95%. And then he is at 80. 1 second. Refresh. This is crazy. To win the popular vote and win the presidency, he's at 86%. And remember, he started the night. Kamala started with a 73% chance of winning the presidency and the popular vote, and Trump flipped it to 84%. He is over 100%. He flipped the odds. That's crazy. That is like stories are going to be written about this night. We thought 2016 was crazy. It's amazing how he went into tonight and just did what he did.
So I want to know how they get Trump to 301. Pennsylvania, Arizona, 301. I mean, I'm just trying to actually see it. See my point?
Uh-huh.
Did they call Minnesota?
Let's see.
I don't see where they get to. It's so confusing to me that I just don't see where they get to 301. I mean, they can't just make up a number.
No, they can't make up a number, but 301 is a number.
301 definitely is a number. It's a number between 300 and 302 last I checked as well. Yeah, the estimate it's not basing it on specific states. But why would it not base on it? Because it's a wavometer. That's why.
Minnesota is just rushing forward. You know, they are under the leadership of Governor Walz. They have perfected this system of vote counting. They have counted up to 17% of their vote 3 hours after their polls closed. And that 17% is in Trump's favor. That probably won't stay that way, though.
Look at this on the Harris's path narrows. Trump has won North Carolina. Very like take Georgia to win. Harris probably need to sweep the blue wall, but Trump has an advantage in all three.
Wow.
Now that's when you get to the wavometer really happening, right? Now you start getting to the numbers that we originally projected in our different projections, because he's likely going to win Arizona. And then now you're to the 306, which is pretty close to what we were talking about.
I have another update for us.
Good.
The betting odds have Trump winning Wisconsin at 93%.
So we've got him winning Wisconsin at 93%, over 90% winning Pennsylvania. I mean, it's over.
New York Times has 91% chance of victory. 91.
Trump is now at 92% of winning Pennsylvania.
Let me tell you what I think we're going to see the rest of the night. I think we're going to see the New York Times move 91 from 91 to 92. Then they're going to go to 93. Then it's going to be 94, 95, 96, 97, 98.
I'm not so sure about that. I think they're
100%.
They're going to go straight to 100% at some point.
No, I don't think so. They're conservative, not conservative, but they're cautious, right? This is the Times. This is the grand old lady we're talking about. The grand old lady with the little old ladies with their colored pencils.
Aren't they in bed yet?
No, Doug, that's you, not them.
I know. I'm wanting to go ahead and call everything because it's way past my bedtime.
Trump's up 180,000 votes in Pennsylvania right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on one aspect, but my sources are telling me that while the presidency and the Senate are in good hands, the House is right now for the Democrats. They're doing what they need to do, and it's going to be up to California, the races in California, to stop the Democrats from winning the House. But there is a good chance, my sources are telling me, that the Republicans lose the House of Representatives tonight.
Well, Debbie, listen, we've already flipped 3 seats, and the Democrats have flipped 0 seats so far. So I'm not sure your information is accurate.
Not only have the Democrats flipped no seats, they've unflipped 3 seats.
Correct. So we've just increased our majority at this point.
I'm just and I'm going against my sources right now are going against what the betting odds say. The betting odds have us at about 74% of winning a sweep, winning the House, the Senate, and the presidency. But I think that 74% is because of the House. I think the House is a little iffy right now.
And guys, I did confirm that I was correct, that it is the new House.
No, it's not.
The new House. Because think about it. When did it happen? When did it happen in 2020?
January 6th.
Thank you very much.
I remember.
When they seated the new House.
On January 1st?
January 6th is when they did it.
Oh, that's right, because it was before the inauguration, but after the
day they said, yeah, so it's the new House. So if the Republicans,
correct,
this literally would be almost a worse nightmare than Trump losing. Maybe not. Trump losing is the worst nightmare. Second is Trump winning and losing the stinking House by 1 vote, and stinking Nancy Pelosi not certifying the election.
Hakeem Jeffries. It's going to be
Hakeem. Well, it's really Nancy Pelosi. She runs the House, right? Yeah. So, yes.
Not going to happen. Let me tell you why this is not going to happen. This thing is too big to wig.
We need the wave-o-ometer.
Wavometer?
Wavometer.
The red wavometer?
The red wavometer. It's time for the red wavometer.
I think the most hilarious thing of the night is how many times we butchered that name all night long.
The red wavometer thing.
The wave-o-ometer.
Oh my goodness. The red wavometer?
Next year we're going to hire a tech assistant too.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Next year?
Thanks, Doug.
What election is that going to be, Doug, next year?
I don't know.
You know, the best thing about the wave wavometer is I keep moving the red wavometer. I keep moving it back and then moving it up to the same spot. But if Trump wins and there's a sweep, we get this. We get the red wave wavometer going.
All
but
the
I
way.
don't think we're there. I think we're still about here.
Are you using Canvas for that?
No, I don't know how to use Canvas.
So can we call Pennsylvania so I can go to bed?
No, I don't think we can call it, but McCormick is doing pretty well.
It's sinking 8:30 where you are.
It's 9:30, and I'm going to Brazil tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock.
That thing again where you looked over the top of your glasses to figure out what time it was?
That's because I looked at the clock.
Doug, I'm on a 6 o'clock flight tomorrow too, so there you go. We're both suffering right here.
Wow.
Suffering.
Although I've got 2 more hours than you do.
Yeah, you're worse, definitely.
Yeah,
way worse. And Steve bet that none of us would show up.
I did. That was my Holly Markets is nobody would show up and I'd be here by myself.
The real heroes here are these people who are viewers in the chat.
Yeah, those guys are the troopers, I'm telling you. My grandson.
How old is he now?
He just had his 4th birthday. Look at him.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sitting there watching the funner.
There
you go.
That's good.
He hasn't moved since the last time you showed us that picture.
Oh, he's in bed. Okay. He got to go to bed. He called them all at this point. He's like, he knew everything was in good hands with Pops.
That's right.
I was going to take care of it. All right, we need some news going on here.
Guys, I think this might be early, but I think Sam is right. My sources are telling me that Pennsylvania is going to go red.
The only thing I'm concerned about is, didn't they have a big steal in downtown, whatchamacallit, overnight? And
I'm looking at the
people out.
Listen, it's game over if Pennsylvania goes red.
I'm looking at Philadelphia. I'm looking at Allegheny County, where Pittsburgh is, and she is not performing as well as Biden did, and he is overperforming where he did in 2020. And so if that is the case, and there's only 12%, or I don't know how much percentage is left, it's a small percentage left, how is she going to make the difference up? Because right now, I think the state, she's underperforming in a lot of counties, and he's overperforming. It's not by a lot, but now they're, like I said, they're what? How much percentage? And I'll tell you in a second. As a state, they are. Well, that's North Carolina. North Carolina is, they still have it, but it's 89% in.
It's, if you look at the data, we're saying Virginia that Trump has no chance or very little chance, right? But he is the same. He's behind the same with 80% of the vote that Kamala's behind in Pennsylvania at almost the same percentage of the vote. So if we're comfortable that Virginia is a dark blue.
Well, I think the question still stands as to where those outstanding votes are. If those are in the urban areas of Virginia, if they're in the rural areas, and I don't know that. I think that's the big question.
Well, Doug, ask your sources.
I don't have. Steve lives in Virginia.
Steve.
I can tell you what's going on in Colorado.
Tell us what's going on in Colorado.
We're going to reelect, what's her name, who was switched her district. She keeps getting in trouble all the time. What's her name?
Carrie Lake? Carrie Lake?
No, she's in Arizona.
Pennsylvania. I'm hearing Pennsylvania and Wisconsin looking good. That wouldn't be game changing, obviously, because now you're the two.
Yeah, we just go to bed if that happens.
I know, but I just
Breaking news: the Harris campaign has told everybody it's been a night. Let's get some good rest, and we will come back and finish this tomorrow.
That's pretty early.
In essence, told their rally they're going to bed.
Really? Now, where are you hearing this news from?
My sources, Doug. I've got sources in a lot of places, and the camp from within the campaign, they told everybody, let's get some sleep, and we'll pick it up tomorrow morning. Which means she's not going to concede tonight, and she's telling everybody to go home.
I'm comfortable conceding on her behalf.
Yeah, me too.
Which means they know Pennsylvania won't make a call tonight. They know Arizona won't make a call tonight. They know Nevada won't make a call tonight. That's what they're saying.
They're going. They're. I think a steal alert is on. We're going to bed ahead. And what's going to happen tomorrow?
Go to bed. You're ahead.
We're going to awaken the lake.
No, go to bed. The vote is red. When you wake, they've done the take.
Right.
So we're back to the same thing, and they're going to send us all
We're back to the 2024.
Then we're going to wake up, and then this is going to be blue.
And everything's going to be blue, and we're going to go, what the hell?
It's going to be blue.
And that's it.
Right.
They won't even fight over stinking Arizona.
Hey, how about some credit for our friends in Oklahoma who have not voted blue, not a single county since the year 2000. That's a country, a whole state that's living in the future.
You gotta love that.
Gotta love that.
Except for Oklahoma's kind of flat.
Not northeastern Oklahoma.
That's
the
true.
foothills of the Ozarks.
That's true. Northeastern Oklahoma.
The beginning of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yep. No, it's not the beginning of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, it's one mountain. It's the same mountain, the whole world. One big mountain.
Okay. So where are we stuck at? Are we stuck here for the night?
Yeah, I think we're at a standstill, guys.
Chris Hall corrected Colorado resident Doug, and it's Lauren Boebert that we were talking about.
Boebert, yes, Lauren. She's going to win.
Good for her.
She moved districts.
Appears to be a...
All right. So here's my prediction. It'll all be okay. Because here's why. Because
didn't we say we weren't going to do this again?
We're ahead,
It was all
and we have good lawyers too. But we can't control it. They're doing it.
For 3 years, you said, go to bed, votes red. When you wake, they've done the take.
But I gotta go. I can't not sleep.
I just want to remind
you don't have that much power, Steve.
Let me show you this right here. What is this?
That's the signing of the
That's right.
Constitution.
Yeah. That's why we're here. Because of a signing of this document, which none of us are sure what it is, but it's an important document that states that we are more than a government. We're a people. A people with an idea that will make it through the night.
Okay, I'll leave you on that.
Are you leaving?
I gotta go. I gotta take the dog out, and I gotta take me out.
Let's vote in the chat. Do you want Doug to leave or stay?
They all are wanting me to leave anyway.
That's
They
good.
said I was going to sleep an hour ago. So.
Yes, and unlike some elections, your vote counts here at the Grassfire Funner election desk.
Yes, all my predictions remain the same. I haven't changed anything. So.
All
right. Signing out, guys.
Thanks for playing, Doug.
Can we make fun of Doug after he leaves?
I'm the first one. You can fire me. Do like in The Apprentice and fire me.
You're fired.
Okay.
You're fired, Doug.
Trump is almost 200,000 votes up in Pennsylvania with 80% in.
Thanks, Sam.
Where's Sam?
Oh, Democrats flipped the House seat.
They needed like 4, right? Or 5?
I don't know a lot. I didn't realize we still had a House of Representatives.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
Well, if we go with what everything is, this is lean Republican. This is lean Republican. Michigan is maybe too soon to tell. What's wrong with Michigan? Why can't they count votes?
Michigan.
Lean Republican. Wisconsin is lean Republican. This is where if they don't do the steal tonight, this is where we end up.
Hey, Stephen Forrest. Doug tapped out. He needed some shut eye.
Yeah.
Doug
Now
usually
we go to
goes to bed
this.
about what about?
Oh.
We've gone vertical. Wait.
We've gone vertical.
Hey, Steve, we're approaching Donald Trump, Joe Rogan territory, where we haven't gotten up in almost 3 hours.
We are. Exactly, because that was what Rogan's. It's funny the things that impress people. Rogan interviews Trump for 3 hours, and then afterwards he's talking about it on his next show. And the thing that was crazy to him is that he said, first of all, Trump didn't pee before we sat down. And then I interview him for 3 hours. He never takes a break to take a pee. And then he got up and left without taking a pee. And Rogan thought this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
So true. So true.
And what you're saying is that we basically are right there.
We are.
We're at the Trump Rogan threshold.
Yeah, in 13 minutes. Well, 12 minutes right now.
I think Virginia is done. I mean, she's up by 121,000 votes.
With 86%.
Yeah.
Well, then Pennsylvania's done because Trump's up by 200,000 votes.
You would think. I will tell you, the Trump headquarters look a lot more excited than the Harris headquarters right now.
Yeah.
Election workers not allowed to start processing mail ballots until election day. So they're still doing mail ballots. The problem with that is the mail ballots are going to be.
Yeah. Well, we know that males go mostly for Trump.
That's true.
So the mail ballots should
The
be
female
fine.
ballots could be go a different way, though. You're right.
Not as much as they said. Have you seen some of those numbers coming in? Some of the actual exit polling is showing that women are about 45 to 54. With Trump getting 45, that's kind of a surprising number because that's not what the mainstream media was telling us, right?
No.
I mean, according to the mainstream media, apparently there was this giant Amazonian island with Wonder Woman in the middle of it, all deciding to vote against the president that had done so much, not only for them but for their families. Looks like that didn't turn out to be that way.
Nope.
There's one thing about women, they care about their families.
They should let Hawaii vote the day before.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's like they didn't even start voting yet, probably.
Have we heard anything on Puerto Rico yet?
They don't get to vote.
Oh.
What a shock, huh? Okay, so our map is what we could expect to happen if we didn't have a steal tonight. I don't know that we're going to win Nevada because of the machine, the Democrat machine, but it won't matter. It'd be 312, Trump 312, with all of the New York Times reporting showing which way the states are leaning right now. This is, mark everything right now. It's 312 Trump right now. If we go with what the New York Times is saying on the data. Do we have a Polymarkets update, Terry? Anything on Polymarkets?
We do. We have a Polymarket is 95% for the presidential election. It is the popular vote now is at 91%. And then winning both the presidency and the popular vote, he's at 91%.
Pretty good. So this JD Vance guy, have you guys thought much about him?
Yeah. What about him? Saw his movie.
Oh, it was a good movie, right?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Pretty good. Yeah. I started to read his book.
That the movie's based on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
He's great.
Interesting that when he was writing that book, he was like predicting this phenomenon in the United States, and now he'll be sitting a heartbeat away from the presidency.
Well, I mean, it's even interesting that Trump picked him because that's not who the establishment Republicans wanted at all. They certainly didn't want someone who was young and MAGA and from the middle part of the country and not controllable by their interests. So it's, Trump apparently listened to Tucker and his sons, and they said, pick this guy. Do this in spite of what everyone's saying. And it's like, going back to my 21 years of Trump, which used to be right up there. Here it is. The 21 years is set up on that Trump is really picking the future, right? And he couldn't have picked a better person for the future if you think of it. If you saw him in any of the interviews, the way he handled all the interviews.
Yeah, he's good.
He comes off very different from Trump. In a good way. And I think he's much more relatable and reachable by a different segment of voters for the next time around than Trump is.
A lot of empathy. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Fox News just called North Carolina. Finally, we had called it a long time ago, but Fox News just caught up with us.
Sam says if Virginia's done, then Pennsylvania's done. I agree.
I agree too.
If they're going to call, if we're going to say Virginia, they're not quite calling it yet, I don't think. But if they're now saying, New York Times is now saying they called it. They called Virginia. Virginia is at 87%, and Harris is up 148,000 votes. Pennsylvania is 82%, and Trump is up 204,000 votes. It feels like this is the legitimate map that we should wake up to in the morning.
I agree.
Is New York Times anything from the New York Times, Mike?
No new updates. It seems like maybe those ladies did have to maybe go off.
They had to leave with Doug.
With Doug. They outlasted Doug. God bless him. You know, when I used to be a little bit more involved in precinct politics, it was always those ladies who kept everything running. So,
of course,
God bless the precinct workers, pollsters.
So, who's your favorite new voice in MAGA, in the Trump coalition?
My favorite new voice. Maybe we haven't heard that new voice yet. This is the next generation of leaders, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone maybe who's just turning 35 years old and eligible for the presidency for the first time. Maybe they're 31 this year. They're going to be 35 in time to become 48.
How about like Vivek compared to RFK Jr., compared to Musk, compared to Tucker?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are good voices.
Election update: Virginia has now been called for Harris.
Yeah.
Okay, we did that a while ago.
But as Sam said in the comments, if Virginia is done, then PA is done.
Yep.
Because again, Virginia is 150,000 votes with 87% in. Pennsylvania is growing 200, almost 220,000 now.
With all the metro areas in, we're trying to get the rural areas in, which we know lean Trump.
There's the problem is that the stupid mail-in ballots, which shouldn't even be constitutional. Yeah, Philadelphia is still low, 72%. Bucks County, that's pretty even.
I have updates from my sources.
Yes.
Sources from my sources embedded within the Harris campaign have come
Yes.
out, and they have shared that hours ago when the exit polls came out, they said that it was not looking good for their campaign and that they would have to outperform the exit polls if the exit polls were true. Now, as time is going on, they're admitting the exit polls are true, and they're telling Kamala right now, as we speak, that her path to victory is very, very difficult, and they don't believe they're going to overcome the blue wall. Those are my sources. Very exciting stuff.
You mean they don't think they're going to complete the blue wall? They won't keep those 3 states?
I think they're thinking they don't have a path. I think they're looking at all 3, and they're not performing as well. And they needed to outperform the exit polls in each of those states, and they have not done that. So they don't. And the exit polls have become accurate. In other words, Trump got what he wanted, and she did not get what she wanted, and therefore she needed to do far better, and it's not coming in that way.
Yeah, that whole question. Thanks, Lauren Elliott, for your comment there. The whole question of exit polling. Steve, you're old enough to remember when exit polling was legal. It's not really legal now. It was in the 1980 election when Reagan swept through the country so unexpectedly, and the exit polls were saying that it caused so many people to stay home that they had to make exit polls illegal. You're not actually allowed to promote them anymore. So,
well, no, they're not allowed to release any results until the polls are closed.
Right. That's what I just said.
Is that what you mean by illegal?
Yes.
Okay. Right, because they were using them to sway the elections.
Right. Or they just naturally did. Yeah, I agree with what you said, Stephen, about those ballots. There should be a better way to handle mail-in ballots. I know we need some accommodation for people who can't vote on the day, but too much room for not just corruption, but error, the way that we're currently doing if we can't get to some kind of computerized online system where everybody votes that way, you can't have 5 million different ways of getting your ballot counted. So thanks, Stephen, for that comment.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of sad what we've done to our elections. Actually, I mean, it used to be an election day. Now it's election season. They even call it election season, and everyone's kind of happy with election season, I guess, because the lines. Actually, I hear some people the lines were longer for early voting in a lot of places than for day of voting, which is kind of bizarre. I guess because you have fewer places open on early voting. But the whole idea of election day is you want to measure the sense of the nation on a day, or as close to that day as you possibly can. So at the least, we should come up with some kind of constraints, 21 days, something within a reasonable time where you're still measuring the true sentiment of people. Plus, think of politics, things can change rapidly in 30, 60 days. Voting 60 days out really doesn't even make any sense. You can't recall your vote. What if something big changes?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And plus, and then you hear, I don't know how they do this, but in France, the paper ballots, 100% paper ballots, and they have every election decided that night. They have the results that night. Like, that's 60 million people or whatever. It's a big country. It's not a small country. Why we can't do the same thing? I know we like federalism, the idea of each state gets to have its own rules, but at some point, when you have some states that absolutely cannot come to a decision on election night, something's wrong with that process.
Yeah. Like, there should be a cutoff time.
We do have a election update. I had mentioned earlier that the Senate had not flipped yet. I was accurate. The Senate has now flipped as Nebraska, the Republican, has beat the Independent. And so that gives us 51 seats. And then Tester and Sheehy in Montana has not been called yet, but all looks like Sheehy will beat Tester, and therefore will give us at least 52.
52?
52 if Sheehy beats Tester, which it looks like he will.
That's a victory report right there.
The victory. So now, but in order for you to have a true majority, you really need 60 votes, right? Can we get
to have beyond cloture beyond the cloture vote?
Yeah,
so
we be able to get
have an unimpeachable majority, you should say. I mean,
unimpeachable.
But yeah, you do get much more power. You get to have the majority leader. You get to control all the committees. You get to control what comes to the floor. So there's a lot of power in having the majority. But you're right, the minority party can stop a lot, which is actually part of the protections. Of course, the Democrats want to remove that so they can pass crazy bills. And I mean, I think most of us are in favor of the cloture, like we're in favor of the Electoral College.
Right.
Otherwise, nobody would ever campaign in most of these states.
Oh, well, you'd only be in New York and California, right?
New York, California, and run national TV ads. That's all you do.
Yeah.
Maybe Miami, Florida, because there's some people down there. Chicago, you'd be all in the cities, just trying to sway the biggest number of people with your media dollars.
Whose genius was the Electoral College? Was that Hamilton who did that?
Don't know. Madison, probably.
Madison, yeah, maybe. Those guys were pretty smart for their time.
Pretty smart for our
boys.
Also, nice. They had duels, but
my sources are telling me that things are looking in good shape, and that my 4:00 in the morning call is coming. So I am going to be exiting the.
Okay.
I hit the 3-hour mark. I did the Joe Rogan show.
Let's do it.
So I feel good about it.
So we're going to screen capture this. This is what we say if there's not a steal. It should be. Trump could get all the way up to 312. He should win.
And I think if I'm right, Steve, does that match my map?
Does it match your map?
I don't think so.
It's close.
It's close, but it's close to all three of mine too.
I think it matches mine.
We'll see.
I think it's really close to yours, actually. Yeah. I think you were 310 or something, weren't you?
Yeah.
I think I was 312.
I think you were 312.
I think I was 312.
We don't have those to go back and look. So
I told you I think Steve has it. I think we have a timestamp. So just for the record,
do I need to find that for you right now?
Well, no, I can find it right here. I have all of them. I created a presentation for myself.
I will think. Let's see here.
I just gotta say, I get a lot of text from you guys. It's just like, okay, this is just today's text. If you can see this, this is today's text.
I know, it's crazy.
You can't see it. This is it right here. These are today's texts. Still going. This is today. Yeah, that's a lot.
All right, let's see here.
Oh.
All right.
Yes, I do believe 312 is what I had.
Oh my
But different states, I think, Terry.
Okay. That's if everything goes as it's leaning. The good news is Trump can lose Nevada, lose Arizona, lose Wisconsin, and still win. Could lose Michigan and win Wisconsin if he wins Pennsylvania. It comes down to
look, here's mine. Mine also has 312.
Yes. It's amazing how yours just comes into that. Stephen Forrest, thank you so much. Good night. Good night,
everybody.
Grassfire.
Thanks so much for being here. We will all check in the morning. Thanks so much.
And if you want to watch the replay, send it to your friends.
Okay. See you guys.
Good night.